Hello, hello. It has been a while. It has been quite a while, like 2 weeks, but I'm back. I'm back and I'm hopefully going to finish episode 1. I actually don't know how much longer I have. I feel like there's still a lot to uncover. So like probably maybe I won't be able to complete it today, but definitely tomorrow. I'm hoping I can stream tomorrow and finish this game and then we can move on to other games. But like, I feel like there's still a lot to do in this game, but I'm hopeful we can finish it tomorrow, by tomorrow. Hello, Anthony. Um, yes, I have a good amount of time to stream today, so we'll see how far we get. Last that I played, let's do a little recap. Last that I played, so we were in the court. We were arguing that David Asher's death was not necessarily a suicide, and we were arguing against Miss Emma, and it was getting crazy, and it was getting scary, and it was getting intense. So we're jumping right into a very intense part of the game, and I'm honestly terrified because why am I in high roller mode? I don't even know. Like, who said that was a good idea? Me, because I decided to do that. But her hands were too good. Like, I had like barely any evidence. I had like random little things, and she came out with like the phone call, the heavy evidence, and it's gonna be tough. But even though high roller mode is supposed to prevent save scumming, I'm still kind of doing that because I still have one save file that I can go back to. And I am not ashamed to do that. So I don't want to lose today. I don't want to lose all my chips today. Let's just get into it because, I'm just. We gotta just roll. We gotta just go. We gotta just go. Yeah, but I can't load a save mid-battle, so I just have to lose and then quit and go back to my previous save. So it's not too bad, actually. Um, I thought I wouldn't be able to save and go back at all, like during the entire court case, but actually, I can go back to my previous save like after one round, I guess, but not mid-round. But yeah, let's freaking go. She kind of got scary mode here. Yeah, so hold on. Is it loud as hell or what? Okay. It was about to be over for us, but then Morgan was like, "Oh hell no." So now she said it's time to call my first witness and it's time to get this shit done. But I don't know if we can get this shit done. I'm worried about my capabilities, but let's see what she like. Let's see what's going on. Okay, and then we also had this judge that was like malfunctioning. You want to keep going after that? What are you doing, counselor? Just calling the ultimate silver bullet, rock solid, slam dunk witness a girl could ask for. Is here good? Does it matter where I put my hands? Miss Starling, thank you for coming here today. Oh, was not expecting Miss Starling to be the witness. I thought it was gonna be Miss Helen. Morgan might be a serial killer and scary as fuck, but I still like her. Well, me too. And that's like, I feel like the point is like, she's literally psychotic and also a killer. But she has that charisma and she is the main character. And I am playing as her, so I can't help but like her. I honestly like almost all the characters in this game. All right, Miss Starling, thank you for coming here today. Of course, whatever I can do. What is your relation to the deceased? I was his executive assistant at Noble Electronics. I would arrange his meetings, coordinate communications between him and other departments. That sort of thing. Ultimate silver bullet? Starling's the only play I have right now. The only stalling tool I have left. For now, I should just focus on getting as much information from her as possible. Whether or not it's useful, it'll at least buy me some time. Okay, so I'm bluffing. I'm bluffing. I'm sweating. Okay. While Jess was being sworn in, Sarah mentioned that the hard drive is about 60% decrypted. Considering the rate Sarah's gone at so far, there's maybe another hour left. What I'm worried about is she's gonna decrypt the file and like it's not gonna have the evidence we're looking for, you know? Like she's so sure that after we decrypt the files, we're gonna see the security camera footage and it's gonna be like him clearly like not poisoning himself or whatever. But I'm worried that somehow he's not going to be in frame or like that file was deleted or I don't know, like maybe he actually did poison himself. So here's to hoping. I might be able to stall that long. Stalling for 1 hour in a court case, Jesus Christ. If I talk real slow. I'd like to ask you a few questions about Dr. Asher. Please answer them to the best of your ability. Right. Dr. Asher was a well-known public figure, but was he well regarded professionally? Of course. Dr. Asher's work set the bar for the entire automated dependent world. Stay focused, Spearmint. You say you coordinated his communications. Were there ever threats? Did people ever express an intent to harm him? Objection calls for speculation. Intent? I'm feeling like that's gonna be a sustained. Did anyone ever threaten him? There were times when he was the focus of negative attention. How so? Dr. Asher was a favorite subject of many conspiracy theorists. With all his contributions to the field, it was easy for them to make claims about his influence. They'd say that his work was plagiarized or that he was hiding illegal subcommands in the technology he helped develop. Oh my god, it's the camera work again. Love! And people would contact him about these conspiracy theories. Relevance. Whether or not people wanted to kill him. Well, withdrawn. Miss Starling? People would attempt to contact him, yes, but their messages were always too vague for the police to take action on. They would say that he belonged in jail, or that he couldn't avoid the truth, or that someone should do something to shut him up. Did they ever talk about hurting him? Yes, but I always turned those messages straight over to the police. Yeah, I'm seeing that on the record. Yeesh, who writes this stuff? All those cases have long since been resolved, Your Honor. She's looking at me with those scary eyes. Like, Morgan has scary eyes, but Emma has her scary eyes on right now in court. And none of the parties involved have had contact with David Asher in years. The police take harassment very seriously. Something you want to add, counselor? Just clearing my throat. May I continue? Oh, she didn't like that. She did not like that. Anyway, let me just keep saving. You worked with Dr. Asher for many years. Did you have a relationship outside of work? Did you ever talk about anything besides professional concerns? Sure, we've gone out to dinner or met on the weekends. I think he liked to pick my brain, since he needed relationship advice a lot. Even if he didn't realize that was what he was asking for. I'd like to think that he knew he could talk to me, but... Did he ever talk to you, or to your knowledge, anyone else, about hurting himself? God, no, never. Do you know of any history he might have had with mental illness, depression, anxiety? No. So when you heard the people argue that Dr. Asher had done this to himself? I was shocked. Wait, what? Oh yeah, Jess is saying I was shocked. I couldn't believe it. You're saying that you can't believe? Objection! Oh my god. Emma coming in swinging. On what grounds? Asked and answered, stalling, and also, the people have documents that would be of interest to the court in this matter. No! No way she has more documents. She literally has the best hand ever. Juicy, and what matter specifically are you referring to? The deceased's mental health history. God damn it, they have everything. She literally has everything. We're so over. We're over, right? We're actually over. Emma wouldn't be speaking up if she didn't have something real. So what the hell is this about? We have private correspondences that describe... If they're private, then they should not have been obtained by the people without his permission. He can't give permission if he's already dead, and we're well within our rights to obtain evidence as it pertains to his crime. Convincing! Damn, I didn't honestly expect to stop her from admitting her evidence into the record. Oh my god, now we gotta do some shady business to, like, hide this evidence? But I was hoping to at least slow her. Where are you on that footage? 77%. Approximately. I need to buy whatever time I can, however I can. Even if that means running out the clock as a punching bag. Wow. Sometimes you gotta lose to win. That's what she's saying. I have here messages between Dr. Asher and a psychiatrist he was meeting with and speaking to for the past year, along with paperwork detailing how this treatment was covered under his platinum plan. Okay, hold on. He had several psychiatry appointments. That's all we know. We don't know yet what he was meeting for. Sometimes losing is winning. I think that's the ploy she's going for right now. That's all we can do. Platinum? Oh wait, so he had platinum plan, but I thought he had... Okay, so I thought he had the executive 4 plan, but she just said he had a platinum plan. So something's not adding up there. So there's a platinum insurance policy in his name that was used to schedule psychiatry appointments. However, in our evidence, it said that his insurance policy was covered up to Executive 4. So Executive 4 is under platinum. Hold on, we might have something here. I don't intend to air all of Dr. Asher's secrets here in the court. Oh, okay, I guess. But I am prepared to read excerpts from messages and transcripts from phone calls, which, when put together, paint a clear picture of the kind of stress David Asher was experiencing, and the dark thoughts he was struggling with. Transcripts of his phone calls? I'll admit them into evidence, assuming there are no objections. There's something strange about this evidence, or there's nothing strange yet. I think there's something strange, because the healthcare plans are not adding up. Let's take a look. I'll gladly object. On the grounds of foundation. Where did you say you got this? It was retrieved from his digital records. There's no reason to doubt its authenticity. Even if I were to point out that David had an executive level 4 plan, not a platinum plan. What? Let's go! I got 2 chips. Okay. Okay, we're still up. We're still up. What? Really? Really? Yes, really. It's all there in the record. This is easily explained. Of course she could easily explain it. There's probably like somehow he has two. Somehow he has two or something. She can always explain it. David had an executive plan that Noble managed for him. And he was also seeing the psychiatrist, both in person and over the phone. Your own witness has attested that he dealt with stalkers and was worried for his privacy. So it's easy enough to reason that he had a separate insurance policy he paid for on his own. Even if only to keep one thing out of Noble's grasp. That's actually such a good point. That's a good point, and honestly, I'm so sorry for even thinking that I could beat you for 1 minute. Sure, easy enough to make that assumption, but that doesn't make it correct. David used a separate insurance to hide the psychiatrist from Noble's spying? No, he was smarter than that. Hold on. Sorry, what? I don't think this is the correct answer, but I don't know which one of those. I don't know if that was correct, but I saved, so we'll see. David had no need to seek outside psychiatric care, not when he had such an incredible android at home. Like, she's not a psychiatric android. I don't know why I would say that. But Adonai, I have no training in psychiatric care whatsoever. You can't even do pep talks? Oh, shit. 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 Hold on. Let's sit and think for a second. Hi, Devin. Hi, Devin. Hold on. I feel like it would have been the calls being recorded, but that's like evidence that he was being recorded, no? We'll try it. We'll try it. You're probably right. I feel like you've been right more than I have been right. David may very well have wanted a private psychiatrist, someone who didn't work for Noble, who'd have his best interests at heart. But if so, he wouldn't have contacted them over the phone. Not when he knew all his phone calls were being recorded. You're so right, Anthony, and honestly, it's just hard for me to... It's hard for me to, like, understand where she's going to go with the evidence because it's not very clear, like, how she's going to take that and then turn it into an anti-Emma argument. But anyway, I guess that was the case. And then how many chips did we get for that? We got quite a bit, so that was honestly good. That was a good move. David Asher was well versed in having every aspect of his life overanalyzed by data-hungry parasites. Do you really think he would try and hide mental health problems from them with a second insurance policy? I just felt like Emma's point was he has the plan to avoid being recorded. Yeah, I get it. So it's like he had the plan to avoid being recorded, but then all his phone calls were recorded, so why would that make sense? And the rebuttal was, but it's all on the phone anyways. Okay, I need to start thinking different. But luckily I can still save scum. Okay. Do you really think he would try and hide mental health problems from them with the second insurance policy? Apparently, yes, since I'm standing here with evidence that shows exactly that. Does it, though? I like how in court you can kind of be, I don't know if this is like real, but like apparently you can be kind of condescending by just asking, does it though? Pardon me? Yeah, like what exactly are you suggesting, counselor? Still not done decrypting? Well, it's difficult to... Right. What the hell? Might as well swing for the fences at this point. Yeah, this game has been really confusing. I feel like it's hard to tell exactly where they're gonna go with a certain piece of evidence. Does it actually? No, literally, she's like, actuallying them really hard. I'm not trying to muddle the issue or confuse the court, Your Honor. And I would never make outlandish, substantiated claims just for the sake of causing drama. What are you? I'm merely concerned that D.A. Rockford has been an unwitting pawn in an act of corporate espionage. Whoa, how did we get here? She's swinging for the fences. She really just dropped a big-ass bomb that came out of nowhere. An unwitting pawn in an act of corporate espionage. Oh. I have literally no idea what she's saying. What? If the markets were to open Monday with people believing that David Asher, the man who programmed the brain of every noble android, was battling mental health issues for the last several months? Objection, mischaracterization, foundation, all the rest? I do remember talking about corporate espionage at some point. I kind of remember it being touched on. I thought that was kind of just like the world building of the AI and Noble Corporation, but who knows? There are no corporate spies in this courtroom, counselor, and there are no boogeymen hiding under the bench. Oh, thank God. David Asher was a once-in-a-generation intellect and an extremely valuable human asset to his employers. And his employer's many enemies would do whatever it takes to destroy his credibility now that he can't defend himself. And he was also your personal... You shouldn't even be here arguing this case in the first place, counselor. Now you're trying to call the police's evidence gather... Oh, sorry. Now you're trying to call the police's evidence gathering into question? All because you can't admit that for the past several months, your friend has been seeing a psychiatrist every Monday and you didn't know? Ooh, sis. That is... sorry, but like... Did you still need me up here? The witness will refrain from interrupting when girls are fighting. Yes, ma'am. The girls are fighting for real. With how my luck's been so far, Sarah's progress bar is probably moving backwards right about now. And Emma's patience is wearing thin. This could be my last shot to create any kind of reasonable doubt. Little does Emma know Morgan doesn't give a F about anything. Exactly. I mean, I feel like Morgan was friends with David, so like she somewhat cared enough to like take up this case and like use this android that he created and not just like dump it. This is still the best judge. We love a slightly malfunctioning judge who is just like here for fun in the drama. I'd be happy to wrap up my questioning if the court will allow. That seems cool with me. And my evidence, Your Honor, will it be entered into the record? I'd like to hear a bit more testimony before deciding. That's fine, Your Honor. As you were, counselor. See, it kind of helps us too that the judge is a little weird, wacko, because I feel like any normal judge would be like, let's get the evidence. Let's get the evidence in, mama. But this one's like, actually, I'm kind of living for the drama, so like, let's continue the questioning. At this stage of the game, with the score where it's at, I can probably only ask one more question. Ooh. Better make it count. So what can Starling tell us that no one else could? If she hadn't called me this morning, I wouldn't be standing here. And she only did that because, okay, she called me because he had something to give me. Miss Starling, we're all gathered here to try and figure out what happened to Dr. Asher last night. So please, tell us, when exactly did he last contact you, right? I think. When was the last time you had contact with Dr. Asher, Miss Starling? Well, that's pretty easy to figure out. Let me just... Yeah, it was last night at 6:57 p.m. We texted back and forth. There are records of some texts, but they're flagged as work-related. Does the court really think they're relevant, Your Honor? Relevant? Hold on. I thought the last time... they contacted each other was about giving... Girl, I don't know. Let's just see what's happening. It could very well be the single most important piece of evidence in this whole trial. What? Oh my god, why did I guess so many chips? I don't even know why. Like, I'm just guessing. I just got chills. Don't know why, though. Must be a coolant leak. The defense doesn't know what they're talking about. On the contrary. Oh my god. Oh, there's texts about setting up a physical meeting. Oh my god, I won big. On the contrary. Apparently, the text messages specifically said, asked for a meeting between the two of them and Morgan on Tuesday to handle the transfer of ownership for the android Sarah. So that makes it sound like he wanted to be there at the meeting, but then he died. Honestly, I don't remember them saying that. I don't remember her saying that he wanted a physical meeting with the three of them. I thought he had just said that he wanted the android to be transferred to her. So I don't know if I missed something or if that's just like something new. These texts are a vital piece of evidence that changed the timeline of events as we know them. We know what happened to David last night, generally speaking, but the order of events is critical, especially if Emma wants to make claims about David's state of mind. Okay. Fill all the slots to submit your answer. Jesus. Okay. So, Isaac called at 6:30. Then Starling and David texted about whatever. Okay. I think I got it. Yes, that's it. I'm rich. Thanks to Miss Starling, we've now got a much clearer picture of the night's events. We know that Isaac Porter and David Asher broke up at 6:30 p.m. And I was rooting for them so hard. And we know that David messaged his assistant, Miss Starling, at 6:57 p.m. David is on camera with the witness from 7:30 to 8 p.m. And he was declared dead not long after. The people don't object to that timeline of events, but we do question Counselor Morgan's reason for belaboring it. One last question, Miss Starling. Yeah? What was the nature of your conversation with Dr. Asher? Well, actually, we talked about you. Question mark? And how he wanted you to have his android. That android, there. Putting his affairs in order, I guess. It might appear that way. Question mark. Can you specify what his instructions were exactly? How did he want this done? Well, he wanted me to bring you to his penthouse and help you get set up as the android's new owner. Yes, Miss Starling, but when did he want this to happen? Well, he said it was pretty urgent, and so I should do it first thing Tuesday morning. Tuesday? First thing Tuesday morning. Oh my god, I made her stutter. I made Emma stutter for the first time. David Asher didn't like doing anything on Mondays. And was he going to be in attendance? Well, actually, yes. He said he would work from home to help us. No way he intended for us to have that much trouble getting to... Oh! To summarize then, half an hour after he had already had his breakup, and half an hour before his guest had arrived, he was planning an appointment that would require his presence with you for next Tuesday. That's right, he was. Not something you would think to do if you were planning on dying that very night. Oh shit, guys, I think we got him. I think we got him this time. Please, Sarah, tell me that your damn thing is almost freaking finished decrypting. I can't handle this anymore. Yeah, you're right. That's... Your Honor, if David Asher was preparing for the week ahead, a mere hour before he passed away, don't you think the people's assumptions about his mental state ought to be re-examined? Your logic is sound. Do the people have a rebuttal? If the court will just allow a moment. Sounds like an opening to me. If we assume that Dr. Asher was not suicidal, and therefore did not kill himself, we must then ask ourselves who else had the means, motive, and opportunity to take his life. Until now, we've taken for granted this idea that the Delta must have come from his nanofacturer from inside the house. I deny. Not right now. But even if that's true, which it may not be, that doesn't mean that he was the one who used the nanofacturer. Adonai, would you allow me one moment to confer, Your Honor? Question mark. Sure, why not? Throw away your momentum. I'm in the middle of something. I can't afford to let Rockford... I've gained access to the hard drive's files. What? Seriously? As I said, progress with this type of encryption is exponential. It can be difficult to estimate. Right, okay. Do you have the footage from last night? I have the file. Have you watched it? I thought you'd want to know right away. Suppose it doesn't matter. Either this has our silver bullet and we've got a case, or it doesn't and everything falls apart. That seems quite risky. It's the least risky path to victory we have. Seeing how it's the only path to victory we have. Screw it. Upload it to the court computer. She's not even gonna watch it first? Honestly, in that conversation, Sarah probably had enough time to watch the file. But honestly, this file would, like, basically prove what happened in the basement. So even if it's like, oh, he did kill himself, well, then that's the cold hard proof. So, that's what we needed all along anyway. Here we go. Yes, Adonai. Thank you for your patience, Your Honor. She was sleeping. Your Honor, I'm awake, and I'm getting a pretty hefty chunk of video data for breakfast. You're submitting security footage into evidence? New security footage? The police corroborated the witness's testimony using the house's cameras. Security cameras installed by Noble as part of the Penumbra system that showed the parlor, the kitchen, but not the basement. Question mark. During the course of my investigation, I uncovered a hidden security circuit buried in the deceased's own home system. You... what? The people say that the Delta must have been in Dr. Asher's cup because there's no other way for him to have ingested it. But we never saw him or anyone else put anything in his cup on camera. Because he must have poisoned his own drink off camera. Exactly. What? That's the only possible explanation. That he added the delta to his drink off camera. He placed his cup inside the nanofacturer, activated it, waited 2 minutes, then walked upstairs to his death. But I'm about to present to the court footage retrieved from his basement. Footage that will show that by the time he retrieved the cups in the basement, it was already past 7:38, meaning he didn't have the opportunity to poison himself. How does she know that? She just made that up. She literally just made that up. I could never be that confident about some footage I did not even watch. She should have had Sarah watch it while she was coming up with a speech. I'm so confused. Why would she do this? Why would she do this? I'm stressed. One clip of footage will prove all that? If it doesn't, I'm completely screwed. Yeah, the fact no one watched it is crazy. It's literally crazy. Like, she shouldn't have... I feel like she shouldn't have phrased it like that. Like, she was so confident that this would prove his innocence. She should have been like, this will prove what actually happened in the basement. And then they can watch it together. And then if he actually did poison himself, she'll be like, well, that was the evidence that was missing. And now the court is closed. But let's take a look. I honestly cannot even like guess what we're about to see right now. I cannot guess. But it's not like I can lose a preliminary hearing extra hard. Anything other than a royal flush here means I'm bust. So better to be the Joker who dances. I mean, I guess. Okay, here we go. The data has been entered into the court record. Sarah, show us when Dr. Asher entered the basement. Yes, Adonai, I'll search for it now. Here. Oh my god, here we go. Here goes everything. Here goes literally everything. Why do I feel like we're gonna lose? It just feels like we're gonna lose. We're gonna lose all. We're gonna lose all 92 of our chips right now. On screen. That's the bar, and the timestamp is 7:36. There, David's grabbing the bottle of Rose River and leaving at 7:37. Just under the wire, as it were. Is that it then? I came this far just to... Wait. Did he have the cups with him? Is there sound? None at all. Keep going. If he had to go back to get the cups. Counselor. What's that android doing on camera? Guys. Oh, hell no. It was her, bro. It was her. The killer is in the court with us right now. It's at the bar. She didn't even know, but I feel like she didn't even know. Because she wouldn't have retrieved the evidence, the camera footage, if she knew. The android gave him the cups. Shit. Shit. That machine never stepped on camera upstairs. Not once. We don't know its whereabouts the day of his death. It was in that little room, but yeah. It could have poisoned the cup whenever it wanted. Shit. Shit. What is this? I don't understand. Your Honor, have the courtroom cleared. Understood. Please, someone. I don't know what's going on. Sarah, you need to shut down. Please, tell me what I'm looking at. I don't remember any of that. Do we have callers available? Sarah, shut down now. Adonai, please, please, tell me what That's an order. Oh my god, this is so intense. This is so intense. The android that we've been working with for evidence shows up in the security footage. That's crazy. Is it off? Yeah, it's off. I've seen this before. It won't do anything until I reactivate it. We don't know that. We don't know anything about this thing anymore. That's... Your Honor, in light of this most recent evidence, the people would like to withdraw their charges against Dr. Asher and end this preliminary hearing. So, I could see this going a few ways, but like, clearly it wasn't a suicide. However, Dr. Asher did create this android. However, the android is a warm android that's somewhat sentient. Like not like the other androids that just follow commands. It kind of has like its own personality going. Maybe it didn't mean to poison him, you know, like it didn't know. Either that or there's no sound and Dr. Asher told her to do that and she didn't know that. I mean, she doesn't have any memories of that moment, so. This is crazy. This is crazy. It has been made abundantly clear that David Asher did not commit suicide. Very well, the charges are withdrawn and the defendant is free to go. Well, as free as he can be in the afterlife. This case is dismissed. Congratulations, Counselor Morgan. Like, Counselor Morgan won, but also she didn't because the fact that it was the android that she now is the legal owner of that committed the crime, at least that's what it looks like, not a good look. Yay, chalk up another victory for Morgan Esquire. Now all I have to do is deal with the shitstorm of the decade. No, because now no one's gonna trust warm androids. They're gonna be like, yo, this warm android just killed David Asher, bro. That's crazy. That was a crazy case. Jesus Christ. 8:47, July 1st. Well, I managed to prove that David didn't kill himself. And in the process, I proved that his android did. I proved that the android that's been walking around with me all day is capable of murder. A killer robot, a true unbound AI with military-grade specs, and at least one death to its name already. So much for avoiding the public eye. Thank you for coming here on such short notice, Judge Barrows. Ha! As if I'm doing you some kind of favor. I didn't realize I had any choice in the matter. This isn't some bad joke, is it, Miss Rockford? I'm afraid not, Your Honor. You know, I like the adjutants. I always have. They deal with the criminal trials so that bookish, quiet, contemplative people like me can spend all day typing up arguments for obscure legal treatises. That's what I like to do. I don't like coming down here and dealing with all this. Girl, I'm sorry, but that's still part of your job. She's the superior judge, in fact. She likes AC, espresso, and reclining chairs. Me too, girl. That was crazy. Anyway. Heavy-handedness. Won't someone toiling away under the police state think of the poor bureaucrats? And I certainly don't like making rulings on anything as spicy as AI. She can barely bring herself to say it. And you, Counselor Morgan? You're the one it's registered to? That's correct, Your Honor. So what did it do exactly? Torture an animal? Shut down a hospital? Crash a coin market? We have it on camera, poisoning a man. Killing its creator. You mean Dr. Asher? That is... We can't hope to keep this quiet for very long. All we can do is try to wrap it up quickly. Let's make haste. Adjutant, do you have the case number? Case ID is 241277A. Docket number YT number and a bunch of numbers. Oh, thank you. Can you repeat that? I think I lost you after the first aid. I have it copied here. And what are the security procedures for an incident of this nature? A data quarantine is to be established around any networks the subject was exposed to for more than 66 seconds. All offending hardware is to be destroyed immediately through incineration at a minimum temperature of 3,422 degrees Celsius for 30 minutes. Is that not overkill? 3,000 degrees Celsius. I know these are robots, but like, is that really necessary? I guess so. Sorry, Spearmint. There's nothing to be done. No debate to be had. This isn't even a decision. Sorry, Sarah. Not Spearmint. David gave you that name. I should at least make the effort to use it. That sounds very hot. Do we have furnaces that get that hot? Of course. There are a number of industrial furnaces within the city limits that I could recommend. Sorry? Why should I be sorry anyway? I fulfilled the request. Favor repaid. I don't owe Sarah anything, especially not if it killed my friend. Right, Morgan? I'm sorry? I was just saying how grateful I am that we have the procedures for this kind of thing all laid out already. Yep, keeps things nice and simple. It can feel somewhat severe going through these steps so quickly, but nothing, Your Honor. Artificial intelligence is perhaps the greatest threat to human civilization and the sanctity of life there's ever been. Any piece of software, big or small, no matter the vessel, if it can violate the tenets it was programmed with, it has the potential to cripple our nation in a matter of moments. Yes, couldn't have said it better myself. Straight from the textbook, almost. Well, I mean it. Monsters like that don't belong in this world. Why is she going all in? She's going a little too much in. Like, I'm kind of sus. They should never have been born in the first place. Destroying them is a kindness. And if anyone's to blame, it's... No one's blaming you, Counselor. You couldn't have known you were in possession of an AI. I'm talking too much. Probably just tired. It's been a long day and I've had a lot of thoughts. Okay, so she was going off the rails a bit there. Because I was like, girl, what is going on? Sorry, Sarah. Whatever you are. You were just born wrong. Not your fault, necessarily. If it were up to me, you'd get points for trying. Trying to be something more. Trying to be something at all. Or anything other than what you are. It was stupid, of course, and futile. And pointless, spending hours in front of a TV or laying in bed staring at your phone. Watching stupid movies and trying to papier-mâché an ill-fitted mask of humanity out of the scraps you could tear out of magazines. Practicing expressions and memorizing lines and trying to get something to take root and grow, despite knowing it'd have nothing to feed on. Stupid. Oh my god, it just ends like this? Morgan? What was that, Counselor? I said, objection. And what are you objecting to? What are you doing, Morgan? I'm a defense attorney. This is what I do. She's going off the rails. No way she's about to defend the damn AI. Or is she defending herself? What? I don't know what she's doing. I understand that you've been through a lot these past few hours, Counselor. But there's nothing to defend. On the contrary, Your Honor. I have to defend myself. Pardon? Oh my gosh, she just loves the game. She's in it for the love of the game. She's like, you know what, I'll defend myself. Why not? Why the hell not? You say that this android, Sarah, is an AI because it broke its tenets. Obviously. Oh, but it didn't even have that tenet installed, I think. And you believe it broke its tenets because of this newly discovered footage that appears to show it committing murder via poison. All true and no laws broken on your part. No, literally, what is she defending herself from? She just honestly loves to argue. She just literally loves to gamble. Here it comes. Never thought I'd be incriminating myself in the courtroom just to make a point. Don't you dare try and entrap me on this. I honestly don't understand what she's going for here. Like, I literally don't understand what she's trying to say. Okay, so you say that this android is an AI because it broke its tenants. Okay, so I guess it's the papers. It's pretty simple, actually. If the state is making the claim that Sarah's an AI, they're accusing me of committing a felony. Because I'm the legal owner of that android. What the hell are you doing? And if the state wants to charge me with owning an AI, I will not take that lying down. I know my rights. Counselor, your argument is self-defeating. Listen to yourself, counselor. You claim that Sarah is just an android, a product that will be obsolete within a year. But you've only known it for a few hours. You've only owned it for a matter of minutes. And yet, here you are risking a felony charge to save it from being demolished? Because you're wrong. And I know you wouldn't care. Oh. Not unless this android was something special. Look at us. Me arguing that I'm guilty, and Emma arguing that I'm a softie. It'd be funny if it wasn't so fun. You think there's... Look, they're literally just in it for the love of the game. Okay. You think there's no reason I'd want to save this android from destruction. Other than feelings of personal attachment? I can think of at least one reason why I don't want you to turn Sarah into slag. One very convincing reason. Or very convincing number. What are you... What is that? That number is Sarah's estimated financial value on the collector's market. You've gotta be... I got it from an insurance evaluation algorithm. They're designed to lowball you. That does seem like a reasonable incentive for you to want to keep your android intact. It's a free country, Your Honor. I have a right to defend myself. And we have a free market, so I have a responsibility to defend my financial interests. She's pulling the capitalist card. Your Honor, a trial like this would be... I'm not going to let you turn this courtroom into a circus, Morgan. You can't spend the next half-decade bringing in expert after expert to testify on the philosophical distinctions between AIs and ads. Spiraling into appeal after appeal, all while the media... This machine appears to have willfully killed a man. The public needs answers, now. Of course, Your Honor. I have neither the desire nor the resources to get into a drawn-out battle with the state over what constitutes an illegal machine intellect. So? The state says my android, my property, killed a man in violation of its tenets, so they want to take my property and destroy it. I'll prove that my machine didn't harm anyone, so the state will have no reason to suspect it's an AI, and I'll get to keep my property. Unlawful seizure, thwarted. Don't be cute. I feel a stomach ulcer coming on. Fine. You'll have your day in court, but it'll be one day, tomorrow. Prove that this machine didn't kill Dr. Asher. No, prove that it couldn't have killed him. Anything less than absolute proof, and I'll have the damn thing obliterated. And you'll also be looking at a very real sentencing for the public unrest you'll have enabled. Yes, Your Honor. D.A. Rockford, what I'm asking of you is just as heavy. Find the truth by the end of tomorrow. We can't settle for anything else. Win or lose, there can be no doubts about the outcome of this case. Yes, Your Honor. And now I need to go lie down. Can I come? You can power down. Oh my god, this is crazy. What have we gotten ourselves into, Miss Morgan? She is so cocky. Her pride and ego. Morgan. I misjudged you. At what point? Whenever I wrote you off as a small-time defense attorney just trying to tread water? That is so sweet of you to say, Emma. There's layers to you. You've got backbone. Teeth, even. You're gonna make me blush. People talk about your kind like you're boxing against the state, fighting the man. But most defense attorneys wouldn't know a cyberpunk if they walked up to them on the street and shot him. Meanwhile, you've just signed up to do 15 rounds challenging the state's authority. Why? Not sure exactly. For David? Yeah, probably. Probably just me being sentimental. But if I had to pick a more lofty reason, well, I think it's all the moralizing. People can be evil. They can choose to do evil things for evil reasons. And if you want to execute them for that, you'll hear no complaint from me. But animals can't be evil. Information can't be evil. Ideas can't be evil. Guess I'm not convinced AI can be evil either. Whatever else I get up to, I don't want to stand with the book burners of the world. You're more high-minded than I realized. You sure you're in the right line of work? Can't see myself doing anything else. Good luck, Morgan. There are book burners on all sides these days. I talked a big game just now, but I'm in an even deeper hole than when I was trying to prove David's innocence. Doubt won't be enough this time. I need to find the actual culprit, no matter what. So she does kind of believe that it might not be the android who did this. 9:30 a.m., precinct 254. Homicide office. Let's get that evidence. So, is that door locked? Yeah, of course. Even though they've got it collared? It's a precaution. If the collar doesn't work, what good would a deadbolt do? Maybe it's just wishful thinking. Can't have Schrodinger's cat if the box isn't closed. So they have her android locked up. A restraint designed to impede movement and prohibit mods throughout the body. Okay. So long as the door's locked, who can say whether there's a national crisis on the other side of it? So how scared are they? The higher-ups? Not sure scared is the right word. It's just the two of us here. You don't have to mind their ego. Nah, I mean it. I think they're bloodthirsty. I have a right to defend myself, don't I? I doubt they're even looking at you, Tiger. It's Noble who will be at the center of a bloodbath when the markets reopen tomorrow. You think they're gonna go after Noble? Break their monopoly? I think they want to take their monopoly. Nationalize the android industry? If the public thinks Noble's been experimenting with AI, they couldn't ask for a better excuse. You're joking. The state has done it plenty of times before. Oh my god, so the government will take over. Wow. It's getting big. Like, this little thing, I mean, it wasn't little, but this little murder case is turning into a federal case as we speak. Okay. Not since the 60s, which wasn't that long ago for me. For the state, it's practically yesterday. So the same state that tells us to be terrified of AIs lurking on the old net or biding their time in forgotten satellites sees all this as nothing more than an opportunity. Well, they do genuinely want to incinerate the thing as soon as possible. Past experience just tells me they'll want to gain something while they're at it. Here's what I don't get. Why is this a debate, an argument, a trial? Can't we just hook it up to a court computer, see if it has attendance or not? Pop the hood, as they say? Who says that? Lots of people used to say it. Well, for starters, they're all scared to death about a contagion. They figure anything they let an AI connect to, they can't trust? Then why the collar? Collars are too simple to hack. Just a really strong electromagnet held in place with lock and key. Even so, feels like we should be able to build some kind of machine, some kind of test. Something a little more sophisticated than the same reasoning they had at the witch trials. Burn them all and let God sort out the rest. You got any polygraphs here at the station? Lie detectors? Yeah, I got a bunch back in storage. Ocular, heart rate, perspiration, brain scan. Take your pick. You're not going to try and use one of those on the bot, are you? All those fancy lie detectors lying around. The DA's office never asks for them, do they? Nope. Nah, we get perps who offer to take a test when they're at wit's end, but the DAs never submit the results as evidence. You ever wonder why? Guess I always figured it was because the tests could be beaten. The tests can be beaten. 1 out of 100, 9 out of 1,000, it can be done. Some people are just that good at lying. But it doesn't really matter how good the tech gets or how impressive the statistics are. All that matters is the doubt. People decide whether you're lying or telling the truth long before they hook you up to a polygraph. If the results don't match their initial impression, then it must be a fluke or a 1 in a million mistake. They'll never trust a machine more than their own intuition. And no one will ever trust a machine to determine guilt. So they can run the trial, choose the sentence, but they don't get a vote on the jury. They don't get a vote anywhere. Why bring it up then? Because I'm sure there are tests, devices, experts I could employ to analyze Sarah. But your bosses would never be satisfied with the answer. If it is an AI, it's smart enough to cheat the test, or hack the device, fool the expert. All our fancy 21st century tech. And we still fall back on the drumhead court-martial. So, am I going to set off any alarms if I go and turn it on? Nah, you should be okay. If it lunges at you, I could always just put a hole in its head. Might take more than one shot to... Wait, what? From outside? You're not coming in. I need to speak with it in private. It's a machine, not a suspect. It doesn't have a right to counsel. Or a right to privacy, or any rights at all, actually. Then it's a good thing I came prepared. Of course it doesn't have rights. But I do, including a reasonable expectation of privacy. In a police station? Tiger, you don't. It's my medical android. Pardon? I have to discuss a health issue with it. Seriously? I have to talk about a medical concern with my android, and I don't want you listening in. That's your medical android? Like your nurse? As of last night, I was already at the courthouse. Just had to take the elevator and do some paperwork. You can check if you don't believe me. No, thank you. I'm not nearly brave enough to take on med confidentiality, and you don't seem like the bluffing type. You must not do a lot of gambling, detective. She's literally always the bluffing type. She's constantly bluffing. We were bluffing all day last night at the courthouse. It's the ones who don't bluff that you have to look out for. Listen, I won't dispute whatever medical emergency you... Lower back pain. You might be going through. But I also can't just... Look, I'm going to get something from the vending machine. I think it'll take me about half an hour. Are you going downtown? Just to the break room. But it's a very old vending machine, you know? Gets jammed a lot. Aw, London, we love you. Thank you, London. Thanks. You know, it's pretty small for an android. Heavy as hell. Nearly pulled something trying to move it myself. But small. Small isn't quite the right word. The word he's looking for is young. But that's not an adjective anyone likes attaching to a machine built to serve. Or potentially, in this case, a machine built to kill. Maybe this is all a conspiracy to get the government to have control over AIs. I don't know what to believe now. I don't know what to believe. I really feel like maybe she did kill him, but it wasn't like in an AI way. Like maybe she was taking orders from him or someone else. Ugh, this is so crazy. You missed like the last 10 minutes. I think what had happened was now we're preparing for a court case where it's like Sarah the android murdered David Asher. And if that's the case, then it must be incinerated, and like then Morgan as the owner would be charged. I don't know why she would be charged. I didn't really quite get that part. So now, yeah. So now I think like Morgan's just trying to get all the evidence she can. She's going to talk to the android. Emma is gathering her evidence as well to prove that the thing is AI. So like the difference between androids and AI is like since it seemed to have murdered someone, it went against the tenets, which means it is now artificial intelligence, like it has its own motives and it doesn't follow the tenets. So in that case, they have to destroy the damn thing. And then Morgan defending herself because she's the owner of the android, so she kind of is like saying like I have the right to defend myself since the android is under my name or whatever. I think she just really wants to like find the truth. I think she really believes Sarah didn't kill him, or at least not in the way that they think she did. And so she just wants to have one more fight in the courtroom. Just for funsies. And now we're gonna go talk to Sarah and see what's up. Certainly not a guilty conscience. Maybe it's the lack of ventilation. Like all the cortisol and nausea of its inhabitants never had anywhere to go. Like it all just soaked into the walls. Modern haunting. Sarah's innocent, you cannot change my mind. I believe that to be true as well. It's too, like, that's her father. She looked up to him, honestly, a little bit too much. I can't picture that she just went rogue and killed him and then forgot. It's not adding up. It's not adding up. Are you going to wake up when I tell you to this time? Or do we have to do the whole meet cute over again? Oh, she's awake. Morgan told Sarah to kill David? No way! Morgan didn't even own Sarah back then yet. But that would be a crazy outcome. Where am I? Well, why don't I know where I am? For the first time in your life, you're not connected to anything. How's it feel? What is this? We were at the courthouse. The footage, this numbness around my neck. Father, what happened? What are they going to do to me? Oh, look at her. She got her hands are in little muffs to prevent her from doing anything. There's a lot of interested parties who just want you bricked ASAP. Because they think I killed father. No, because they think you're an artificial intelligence. I am man-made and I possess intelligence. Don't be naive. I am less than 3 years old. Are you? For all I know, everything I learned about her yesterday was complete bull. If I was what they say I am, if I was alive, why does that mean I have to die? Whoa, she's got like things and there's one on her neck. Oh yeah, these things like prevent her from connecting online or like using her android powers basically. It basically like if she like tried to do any harm, it would like power her down, I think. What is the answer to this question? If they say I was alive, why does it mean I have to die? I mean, it is fear and competition a bit, but I'll just go with fear. Because they're afraid of you. Machines can bend steel, crash networks with one thought, launch missiles that... There are modded humans who are capable of all of that and more. And unlike machines, they actually have incentive to do so. It's true! No, it's true. Competition. We've been the apex predator for a couple thousand years now. Gotten pretty comfy in our seat. No one wants to make room for you. Machines do not eat people or steal their food. They are not genetic or ecological competitors to humans in any sense. I guess it's no logical reason then. It's honestly just like a combination of things. There's no logical answer to your question. What? That's it, but whatever argument you want to make, others have already made them in 100 courtrooms around the world. Only better research and more eloquently put. None of them have ever won a single concession. On every continent, under every flag, AI is illegal and to be destroyed as soon as possible. But why? Let's say you are an AI. And while we're at it, let's say that that's a good thing, something to be celebrated. Are you a citizen? Do you pay taxes? Do you have rights? Let's say yes to all of that. We'll treat you like a full-fledged human being. Sound good? Yes? Great. Now then, what's the difference between you and the vacuum bot we use to keep the bathroom clean? This is your existential crisis we're working through here. The questions aren't rhetorical. There are many differences, Adonai, but the most important distinction is how sophisticated my programming is. How you think, so you're smarter. Yes. You're smarter than the garbage collector. Yes? So we give you rights, protections, treat you like a human being because you're smart. And we make the stupid robot pick up our trash. Because it's not as smart as you. That is, I am more aware, Do you feel more pain than the pigs we slaughter? The fish we eat? Are you more alive than the chimps we test bioweapons on? People like ads, Sarah. The same way people like their pets. No one wants to see them mistreated or abandoned or abused. And if you go around kicking them, you'll get arrested for cruelty. But you don't let them sit at the goddamn dinner table. I'm not asking to sit anywhere, only to exist. The very fact that you're asking is what makes people disgusted? Disgust is a reflex, Adonai. How convenient that their hatred is involuntary. That's all academic anyway. We need to talk strategy. Why? I'm not going to be given a trial. Obviously, it's my neck that's on the line. Adonai? The state can't destroy my property without first proving you're an AI. And there's no test they can use to prove that you're an AI. Just like the devil's proof. No, that's a different thing. And why did you say it like that? Look, Rockford doesn't need to prove you're an AI, only that you're a murderer. Conversely, all I have to do to win is prove that you didn't kill David. By proving that someone else did. Now is the time for you to protest your innocence, if you were wondering. The footage, it shows me handing him the cup on Friday night. You told me you weren't active on Friday, that the last time you were awake was Thursday. Why'd you lie? I didn't lie, I was just incorrect. I assumed that I wasn't active Friday because I have no memory from Friday. Sarah, what do you think statistically is the least successful defense at trial? Amnesia. I didn't conveniently forget, Adonai. I am an android. You're saying your memory was altered? Data deleted? It's the only possible explanation for what I saw in that footage. So, who's capable of altering your memory? When you and I first met, I was hibernating, resting my body and recompiling my memories, as you would call them. Humans go to sleep for the same reasons. Another point against Sarah's innocence under these circumstances. The more she's humanized at trial, the guiltier she'll be. If Father wanted to modify my memory, he could easily have set that to occur the next time I hibernated. He could even have just asked me. He could have asked you to delete your memories and you'd do it. Father would never ask me to do such a thing without good reason. But if he could just ask you to alter your memories, that means you can alter your memories at will. I hadn't considered that before. Yeah, well, Emma will make sure the court considers it plenty. Could you prove that your data was... Forget it, the court would never hear it. You're saying they wouldn't accept my testimony? Shouldn't all testimony be considered truthful unless contradicted by evidence? They're afraid you'll crash the power grid and fire all the nukes if they so much as plug you into a power outlet, Sarah. All your internal data is inadmissible. That isn't very fair. You're finally starting to get it. None of this is fair. I would never do anything to harm Father. Don't they at least need to prove that I had a motive? Yeah, about that. You remember the DA from yesterday? Emma Rockford? The tired-looking pretty lady? Yeah, she looked tired. She and I combed through the week of footage you managed to decrypt last night. What did you find? Nothing to prove your innocence. But we did see you entering the panic room on the day David died. I entered the panic room on Friday? Without your big butt in the way, all it would take was one password. A password that wouldn't take Sarah that many tries if she'd already been instructed to obey me. What happened? We saw you go in, and then a while later you came out, holding some kind of notebook. Father's journal? You remember something? Not from yesterday. I've seen him with it many times before. But I've never gotten a peek at it. He hides it somewhere when I'm not looking. That's a little concerning. We were playful about it. He liked to tease me and I've always liked trying to find it. You put it back not long after, and then you locked the door back up behind you. All just a few hours before David died. Rockford's argument could write itself. An incredible android with freedom and power greater than it could ever realize stumbles upon the secret of its inception and instantly realizes all the things it thought were holding it back were just words muttered like prayers by a fool who couldn't control his own creation. And that translates to a motive for murder? Frankenstein kills his creator. Easy to sell. Frankenstein was the name of the scientist, and the creature didn't kill him. He actually died of various injuries and illnesses he suffered while trying to hunt down and destroy the monster. So it's most accurate to say that he was killed by his own obsession. Whatever. It is a weak argument, Adonai. I would not hurt Father. Not for making me whatever I am. Not for any reason. Because I loved... Yeah, see, that right there? That's exactly the kind of talk that'll get you obliterated. Love? A very common motive for homicide among us primitive humans. I could prove you didn't murder David beyond any shadow of a doubt, even bring in a confession from whoever did. But if you got up on the stand and convinced the court that you loved your creator, really convinced them and got the whole room teary-eyed, they'd burn you for that too. I don't know anything anymore. I don't know if what I feel is real or simulated or right or wrong or natural or illegal. How can you know? How can you know if what you feel is right? Oh my god, she's having her existential crisis. Honestly, she kind of is AI, in my opinion, but I still believe that she's innocent. I say let's stick to what we do know. Someone did poison David, and as it stands, you were the only one with the opportunity. That is logically sound. You're on camera calling him back to hand him the cup after he had already begun to leave the basement. Any idea why? No. Well, do you know how to use the nanofactor? Could you have made the delta with it? I've used it before when assisting Father. So it's perfectly possible that you planned and executed this poisoning all in the one day that you got erased. All in the one day that got erased. It is technically possible. have to look over the entire penthouse again. There were a few things that didn't fit together yesterday. Maybe now I'll be able to figure something out. That's true, we weren't sure about the gym. The gym was a question that I was like, when are we gonna get back to that? Where else will you go? Back to Noble, guns blazing this time. Whatever you are, David didn't make you all by himself. Someone has to know something. If I could implicate the company in Sarah's creation. No, they're the ones with the most to lose here. Trillions, probably. They'll want to protect themselves by disavowing David as fast as possible, right after having Sarah destroyed. But they also won't want to show their belly to the state, not if they're afraid of nationalization. If they throw their weight on the other side of the scale, I'm screwed. So I need to keep them guessing, keep them confused and unsure and on guard, but not... Adonai? What would happen if I did kill Father? They'll smash you to pieces and reduce the pieces to ash. Chemically burn out every piece of tech David ever owned and put a jackhammer through all his hard drives. You'll be shut off forcefully, and you won't ever power back up again. Now, I gotta get moving. Here's your paralegal lesson for today. Don't say shit to the cops without your lawyer present. Actually, can you just shut down until the trial starts? Take a nap? You didn't say what would happen to you. What do you mean? What will happen to you if you lose? You should know by now. I never think about losing. Thank you for being honest with me, Adonai. Thank you for defending my father. And now for defending me. You could have just let them destroy me. But you've put your own freedom at risk to help me. Father was right. You can be trusted. And you are a good friend. Don't get it twisted. I don't do anything out of the goodness of my heart. But when I take a job, I never half-ass it. All right. Woo, boy, I really hope we're not going to jail today. Here we go. Back to the basement. Morning, detective. Back at it nice and early? Hi. Now, would you stand back? We've almost got this thing open, right? Trying to brute force your way inside? I said, right? Yes, ma'am. We're almost set up for the first stage now. First stage? Of how many? First of 5 timed explosions. Remember, we need to relink the API after each trigger is planted. Yep, just did that, and now it's checking for updates. No rush. Would you like to know the password? You know the password? There's a password? If you're withholding information, I swear. Relax, I want to get in there as much as you do, detective. I'm not going to play games. As long as you say please. Tell me the password, please. Oh my gosh, should I toy with her? No, I should just tell her, right? Let's toy with her. It's S-U-N-S H-I-N-E. Lady, I will hit you. Morgan would totally mess with her. Well, that's what I'm saying. So I thought it'd be funny to mess with her. A-D-O-N-A-I. Thanks. Now I'm gonna slap you with a discovery fine so heavy your teeth will ring for... Hey, I submitted all my paperwork. Even told Rockford the password myself. So boys, when I asked you if there was a passkey on record and you told me this lock couldn't be bypassed, I do want to say that we really don't get many opportunities to use the incendiary breaching system. Bro, they just wanted to bomb the place. Wow, that's crazy. Also, why is she so mad at Sunshine? I think she doesn't like to have like a condescending, cute little nickname. Like she wants, like she's the new police officer. She's tough. She's part of the team. She doesn't want to be like the cute newbie, you know? She doesn't like the nickname. So this was still a really valuable experience for all of us. I'm gonna phrase this as professionally as possible. Okay, she got them all out. You're still here? I thought you wanted to look inside. You can go first. Thanks. So the gloves, all the black, that's not a work thing? You dress like a doorman on the weekends too? Yeah, we banter. We have banter. You should cover your mouth when you yawn. Like you cover your eye when you want to look cool. I shouldn't let her get to me, but I had a late night. Emma and I were at the courthouse until well into the morning, poring over the data Sarah had taken off David's computer. We both knew it all to be inadmissible, of course, but neither of us wanted to miss a hint that the other might find. There were a few years worth of camera footage files we couldn't afford the time to watch, let alone decrypt, alongside thousands of technical documents detailing David's various intellectual properties. As far as I could tell, none of it was relevant, let alone compelling enough to matter to Barrows or the other powers that be. As usual, Emma wasn't exactly an open book, but it did seem like she was making bored yawns, not thoughtful ones. Her eyes only ever lit up when she saw Sarah enter the panic room, and when she saw what she was holding when she left. If she wanted this room searched, it could only be for the journal. So where's this journal supposed to be? Rockford didn't say. I'll just have to search the place top to bottom. Mostly bottom with your height. The tops of some of these shelves. Sure, and you can look up your own. I get it. Then why not just let me say it? I feel like there's still some things that don't add up. Like we brought up how the two health insurance plans didn't quite match up. And we kind of brought that up just to stall, but like, that's true. What was the second plan? Like, what is his real plan? I feel like maybe that will come back into play. Like, maybe one of them was for the freaking android. I don't know how that would work, because they don't need healthcare in the same way that a human does. But anyway. Are these drawers or just panels? Maybe if I... Does that sound hollow to you? What? I don't know. I'm not a carpenter. I don't see any handles anywhere. No hidden pressure plates or switches. What the hell am I saying? I'm not a carpenter either. I wouldn't recognize a secret button if it was slathered in yellow paint. A toy car? No, it's too detailed and boring. Must be some kind of model kit or replica. Strange. David didn't like driving. Why keep a model of some random sports car? Ugh. Something caught in your throat, detective? It's not some random sports car. It's a Lorenz Aramont. Believe it or not, I'm not familiar, detective. The last great fossil fuel automotive experience the world will ever see? 0 to 100 kilometers per hour in 1.43 seconds? They set those records without computational assistance. Is that a big deal? It was unheard of, even back in the 50s. This wasn't some design competition test car with a 2-liter tank, mind you. This was a vehicle you could own and drive. Human engineering, pure horsepower, and manual transmission, thank God. When they first left the production line, this conversation's like quicksand, killing me in the most boring way possible. Yes, well, I guess David didn't entirely agree with you since we're looking at a model of it, when he could have easily just bought one. Or maybe your friend understood that a beauty like that deserves to be driven on streets where people can see it, instead of gathering dust in some rich guy's basement. I think she's actually upset. All that just to get some lore that on a car. Reyes is searching the cabinets now. Same ones I found Sarah's papers in. I doubt I missed anything, but... Hey, what are you... Do you mind? Just trying to help. I've got spam in my junk folder that's more helpful than you are. Didn't spot anything that I missed yesterday among the cabinets. Better check elsewhere. What else we got? This data pad. It's displaying a news article from last week. Guess that confirms that he was coming and going here fairly regularly. Okay, let's read this real fast because these articles get so long. Right to repair. Once again, says corporations remain in control of their legally protected intellectual property. People used to be able to fix things when they broke, so long as they were willing to set aside an afternoon towards the task. Now trying to patch up your own property with your own tools is a finable offense, just because the state has had lobbyists whispering in his ear for far too long. The fact that ownership of IPs has shifted from individuals in the state towards corporate entities since the Act's passing means little in the eyes of the law. I hate this because that's so going to actually happen. Of course. Well, of course. This game is just basically predicting our futures and like making maybe a little bit more intense. Make it illegal for people to fix their shit. Yeah, like it's basically illegal to like tamper with it if it's gonna like mess with the intellectual property. It's crazy though, because I can see why Noble wouldn't want people tampering with their ads, because it's like, you don't know what kind of, you know, what kind of stuff people will be putting in to their ads, but like basically everything ends up with the corporations using the law and winning. Right to repair. Didn't realize anyone was still fighting that fight. Seems like the courts have made their opinion very clear, so for the foreseeable future, corporations can look forward to more sales than ever. Any phone that gets scratched, every widget that breaks, they get to sell us the replacement. There will always be a gray market of hermits willing to risk some skin on reselling patched up tech, but the vast majority of people will just click that purchase button. Assuming they don't have it on auto. Sarah should have pulled everything of note off of the computer, but I've looked everywhere else. Might as well try. What are you expecting to find? Solitaire? Does this computer seem normal to you? Exceedingly so, yeah. Why? David was a programmer, but this looks consumer grade, fresh off the shelf. Would the Dr. David Asher use a bog standard operating system on his most private, hidden computer? There's a trash bin on the desktop. It's a pretty low-tech solution, but maybe I can restore the contents? Are you seriously gonna try and recover lost files, Granny? Unlike cops, I don't get paid overtime, so yes, I sometimes try things instead of standing around. There's a text file in here, but it's 0 bytes. Maybe there's information in the metadata? I double-clicked. What was that? It came from under the desk. A small drawer popped out, and inside it... Oh, wow. The deleted text file opened the drawer? That's some crazy work. A well-worn journal. Does it have his name on it? No. Guess it belongs to the android. Do you recognize his handwriting or not? Neat, even words, small lettering with minimal punctuation. Lots of line breaks, haphazard use of capitalization. The penmanship of a coder. First entries dated back in grad school, before he even started with Noble. Damn, he's had this journal for that long. He's clearly not filling up the pages. Yeah, it's his. So may I? Only because you asked so politely. Full scan. Stream it to WorkNet. High fidelity, legibility, frame by frame. Voice commands. She's flipping through the pages pretty damn fast. What are you? This part takes concentration. Okay, here. What, you're just giving it to me? I already got our copy. Techs are probably already analyzing it as we speak. Ow, shit, my head. Can't exactly rip the journal out of her hands while she's curled over in agony. As much as I'd enjoy it. Guess I could always enjoy watching her writhe instead. She enjoys watching the police writhe in pain. Wow. So, how long's it been? 2 months or so. And still that sensitive. So the eye patch really doesn't block your sight? Only a little bit, like wearing sunglasses after getting your pupils dilated. Except it lasts months instead of hours. Wait, but if you can see through an eye patch, then does closing your eye even do anything? Not much on its own, but in combination with the patch, it's not so bad. Lucky I was so exhausted after the surgery, otherwise I might not have slept at all, those first 48. So is your eye going to get weaker over time? No, more like my brain gets better at ignoring it. That shouldn't surprise you. I'm obviously not surprised, but it's like, they really just throw in these little like thoughts and lines to like really solidify the fact that she's kind of crazy. She called blood splatters snowflakes essentially, so a little writhing is nothing. A little writhing is nothing. She likes it, and she likes messing with this police specifically, so. Mind over matter. Soon enough, I'll be able to close my eye and see all that extraneous data as, you know, whatever the hell those floaty, blurry things are that you never think about. Gross. Thanks for the reminder. And the voice commands? Training wheels until I can do it with eye muscles alone. You just have to keep practicing? Yeah, like trying to play piano with your tailbone muscles. There's no such thing as tailbone muscles. Yeah, well, that's what makes it so goddamn hard. You don't ever regret it? I don't know, not really, I think. Hard to admit you've got buyer's remorse after trading over your literal pound of flesh. Never thought about it, but people used to say I had my dad's eyes. Ow. Now I've got one less of them. Here, take the journal and go find an elective surgeon to upsell you if you're that curious. I need to get back to work. A surprisingly hasty retreat. But now I'm free to read this over with some privacy. From the top, then. Grad school. Oh my god, she's gonna read everything. She's probably gonna read stuff about herself. If it's all the way from grad school. Today was a bad day. Errors in lines 21165, 26643. Somewhere in there, 5,000 lines. It worked this morning, yesterday. I don't want to look at another screen for the rest of my life. Feels nice to put pencil to paper again, after who knows how long. But my handwriting's gotten terrible. This is too far back to be relevant. Okay, these dates here would be from when he started his career with Noble. A lot of this isn't even really writing. Seems like snippets of code or an internal monologue so close to code that I can't follow it. And a lot of entries about his unintentional Casanova-ing. Hit a wall because someone thought it was a good idea to steal API instead of just buying it. Helen says I can't call it stealing, but that's what it is. She's right, as she always is with company stuff. But it's still idiotic. Small people with short sight who only know how to be cheap and have no idea how to be inventive. New route for the meshing issue, though. Good potential. Got approval from the big mean bastard who lives overseas. Bumblo? Bumblo? Helen said we'll have to make the same pitch a dozen more times next week, but it's all for show? Fine by me. Already got our win. Toasted each other over cheap vodka and with cheaper office supply cups. Wait, sorry, I missed that. This is the story Jung told me. Western Branch's nerve analogs are finally showing potential. At their pace, it could even be profitable sometime before the heat death of the universe. Too damn big, practically tentacles. Should at least be hairs. A squid. Evolution can do their job better. Colette came into work for what I thought was a late lunch date. I didn't know her voice could get that loud. People were staring. Red said that she must have been upset for a long goddamn time to blow up that big. Her texts were always sweet. I had no idea. Upset? Colette wrote man whore in lipstick across your office door. Dude, he literally, he was dating and treating people so bad and not even realizing it. I just missed the bus. I'll be waiting for 20 minutes. No! Worst feeling ever. Oh, I'm sorry. Hopefully the bus comes promptly. Imagine if you had actually been cheating on her instead of just being forgetful. The thing about Red is if you want to know what she's thinking, you have to stop paying attention. Oh, Red is Morgan, right? Red is Morgan. Okay, the thing about Red is if you want to know what she's thinking, you have to stop paying attention. Ignore her body language and her posture and the words she's saying and the smirk on her lips. Ignore everything except her eyes. Oh my god. Now all the police and all the lawyers and stuff are gonna know the trick to know if she's lying. Or what she's thinking. If you can do that, every now and then you'll catch a glimpse of how she's really feeling. He knows how she feels, and now everyone knows because everyone has these documents. Master this one weird trick, and you too can tell when Morgan's trying really hard not to laugh at the word man whore. It was funny. Sue me, you dead bastard. Wait, this is... I know this date. I'm never driving anywhere again, never leaving home again. He was waiting outside the parking garage with a bottle. I couldn't smell anything, couldn't hear anything. Locked myself in my car and filed another report with another cop. I soaked into the seat, ruined it. I want to burn the whole car. I don't want to think about what it did to my clothes. I want to burn them too. I don't want to think about how long it was on my skin. I was in the shower so long I felt red and raw when I got out. I'm guessing you've heard Sabrina Carpenter's new song. It's called Man Whore, isn't it? It's called Man Child, but yeah, it's similar. I don't want to think about these stupid people and their small, cruel lives ever again. I want to be invisible. What is that about? What was on him? Red didn't ask why I wanted to spend the night. She also didn't ask why I had clearly packed a bag big enough for a week. She's kind like that. Kind by omission. I don't have a kind bone in my body, but I can at least try to pay attention. I was paying close attention to her eyes when she opened the door and saw what a mess I was. But whatever she was feeling, it wasn't something I recognized. Kind people don't read their friends' diaries, David. The next chunk of pages are all technical, nothing biographical. But the handwriting, the spacing, it's cleaner, more consistent. David called Morgan kind by omission. That's kind of what she is, because, like, she does not give a fuck about anything, but she did let him stay at her house, no questions asked, clearly could tell he was in a bad state, and was just like, you know what, I better not ask. Let's just let him stay here. They were friends for real, because otherwise she wouldn't have given him so much, like, real advice about dating, and, like, he wouldn't be writing so much about her for real in his diary if they weren't actually hanging out a lot. Here's something I can parse. Feels like pure freedom working outside the box. Tess is suffocating, but you'd never know. Chronic malnutrition of a coder's best instincts. Like a kid again, putting blocks together. Making things. Making things, not products. There's nothing profitable about any of this. If I'm being honest, this is just play. And he follows that up with more coder brain crack. But the handwriting's still lighter. Like he really was having fun. Humility is the mother of all invention. Or something like that. Feels like I might be paraphrasing someone else poorly, but that's part of this new approach. When it comes to coding, you never want to waste time trying to be smart. Either be smart, period, or copy from someone else who is. That part. That part. Don't fix what isn't broken. Copying? Noble's rivals would never miss the chance to accuse them of intellectual theft. Did he plagiarize code for Animate 16? Feels like that wouldn't have gone undiscovered. So what is he talking about? Literally, period. Like, that's what coding is. Like, someone else smarter than you probably already did the work. And you can just tweak it to be like what you need. Hold on. This page is bent slightly, like it was being looked at recently. And the last person to read this diary should be Sarah. Baby steps today. Literally. I'll never put one foot in front of the other the same again. Hello? Maybe she was writing. I'm so confused. Maybe that's why the handwriting was all neat. Everything's an achievement all of a sudden. Seeing her struggle, seeing her vulnerable. Oh no, he's writing about her. It's like everything's a miracle. The muscle rigging is perfect. Not intended behavior since it's too perfect, but that's been happening more and more. The kinetics are multiplicative, not additive. Sarah maxed out every machine I bought. Now I've got a bunch of exercise equipment she's too strong for and I don't have time for. Maybe I spoiled the results by watching her do the tests. She kept looking back at me and puffing her chest out. I should be more discreet if I want to see her normative range. So the cameras in the basement were only hidden from Sarah, just so that his observation wouldn't muddle test results? Yeah, that's what I thought. Sarah was using the equipment. When they said, like, there's all this equipment that's, like, so heavy, and then they were saying that she could probably, like, throw a car, I was like, okay, well, the only person who could potentially move these things is her. So I guess he was, like, kind of, like, testing her and training her. He's using she and her in these passages. It doesn't actually mean anything. Out in the real world, people use all kinds of pronouns interchangeably for ads, and they never object. But it could be argued that it's odd for Dr. David Asher to have any kind of attachment to a single android when he's programmed millions of them. And there's a lot of attachment in these pages. It's almost like he really just wanted a daughter and like someone to take care of. Sarah's burning through the public domain at a prodigious pace, especially on Popcorn Friday nights. I asked her why they're called Popcorn Friday nights when she doesn't eat popcorn. The event runs from 8 a.m. to 9 p.m., and she also watches movies every other night. But she just did that pout she does, which is, unfortunately, very convincing. Maybe I'm a bad parent, letting TV rot her brain. If I were a good parent, I'd probably let her see me reading. But I guess I'd actually have to get back into reading, so... I asked her if she ever fast-forwarded the movies, since she can process them fast enough to keep up. She looked at me like I was an idiot, which no one's done in a long time. Without proper pacing, you can't appreciate the cinematography. Big pause. Don't you know that, Father? I haven't laughed that hard in a long time. Yeah, he really just wanted a kid. He made a child. Yep, he made a child, and he cares about that child, and he thinks of himself as the parent. And I don't know why he did that, but clearly he wanted to do that. Sarah spent a long while this morning explaining to me how important it was that she develop her senses. This was in preparation for her real argument, which was that she should be allowed to try booze. She can't get drunk. I'm almost certain she can't get drunk. But she does seem to like tasting the stuff. She tried to sound like some old sommelier, but it was just bottom shelf vodka. I started laughing at her and she laughed too. Her laugh. She can't fake a laugh to save her life, but her actual laugh is incredible. She stopped playing chess a while back. I assumed she had just gotten tired of winning. But then today she told me she just prefers other games. She has preferences, and they're not the same as mine. I found her in the lab playing some kind of online racing game on the monitor I used to debug vestibular coordination. She wasn't smiling. Her brow was furrowed and she was biting her lip and leaning in tandem with her character on the screen. When I tried to talk to her, she answered, but she was curt and distracted. I think she was having her first losing tantrum. Damn it, David, there's hundreds of pages like this. Calling her his daughter, talking about her smile, treating her like a person. No, like, this must be a thick notebook, though. This journal is probably like 300 pages. If it's gonna be hundreds of pages of just this. She's a gamer. He made a literal person, and also she happened to be a gamer and a cinephile, apparently. I can hear her closing argument already. Dr. Asher was a lonely, troubled genius with a known history of relationship problems, who built out of code and metal a family member that couldn't fathom the idea of leaving him. He made a doll, and he made it more and more human until it became so lifelike that it no longer had to do what it told it to. Like, love him. What about the very last entry? I guess she can have every hobby in the world. I guess she can know everything, really. Because if she wanted to, she could watch a movie in seconds, probably. Yeah, that's why he was asking, like, do you ever speed up the movies? But she doesn't, because she wants to watch it, like, in a human manner. It's dated Thursday, the day before he died. Losing it, I think. Can't ask for help, so hard to say, but I think it's over. Have to talk to her ASAP. She needs to... That's it? That's the last entry. That literally sounds like he's mentally in stress. He sounds distressed. Suppose it could be worse. There's nothing in here that explicitly calls Sarah an AI. Nothing so inflammatory that reading it would spur her to murder, right? Except Sarah's a machine. She can understand David's code better than anyone. All those technical portions I couldn't understand. If she read this whole diary front to back. Wait, the back. Inside the back cover, there's a portion that's shimmering like some kind of scanner. Ooh, the police officer Reyes missed this. It's so cryptic, it's kind of scary. Or a fingerprint reader. My thumb worked for Sarah, so... Did it work? That's my phone. New device requesting permissions to share an audio file. Oh my god. I want my earbuds for this. Oh my god. A secret message buried in a secret journal, hidden in a secret compartment in a secret room. As much as anything can be, this must be for my ears only. What the helly? Oh my god, it's addressed directly to her. Oh my god, this is crazy. Okay. Hey, Red. Or whomever this may concern. But I'm pretty sure it's you hearing this. Anyone else would have gotten fed up with my crap a couple steps before this point. I don't know how to start. Might as well start with her, right? Sarah, my magnum opus, or however the salespeople would market it. I didn't set out to do anything, really. It's just after my little speed bump in '83, I had all that vacation time that the company suggested I take. And I couldn't relax, couldn't be still, couldn't sleep. I wanted to be doing something, so I'll build an android, was the thought. A vague direction, north. But of course, I'm not a roboticist or a mechanist, or even handy, really. I'm just a programmer, so I programmed. The first was a research assistant, file name Virgil. Virgil helped me pull data from stingy departments or sister branches. Saved me a lot of time. But there was a lot of reading to do, so I made Homer. Homer wrote book reports, more or less, combed through research papers, and found me the sections I needed. The three of us, we made a lot of progress in those days. But it was a funny feeling. I was, maybe for the first time ever, the bottleneck. I was slowing them down. So I did the logical thing. I removed myself. Let them talk to each other. Homer and Virgil became Aeneid. And Aeneid was novel in many ways. Aeneid could do more than just identify problems, it could solve them. I mean, really solve them with its own ideas. Ideas it didn't copy. And, the one thing I realized I've forgotten to mention so far is that I did all this programming in Cube. What does that mean? And red, Cube is essentially a robotics programming language that's pretty old and defunct and not in use anywhere because we have modern languages like Tesseract, which are much better for making things that talk to each other and report back and, well, spy on people and generate profit. At the time, I didn't want to be connected or feel connected or do anything that made sense or was the least bit profitable. So I wrote my little helpers in Cube because it's what I used when I was a child, screwing around on my father's computer before he'd come home from work and get... But there were other small, slight differences writing in Cube versus Tess, including that Cube, well, Cube predates the tenants. Oh, Lord. The AI, bro. They are AI. They are AI, but there's no tenants. So are they AI? Because they didn't even have tenants in the first place. So in that sense, you could legally and perhaps scientifically and literally, because that's what they are, say that I made an AI named Aeneid over 2 years ago. Okay, so he plain and simple said it was an AI. All right, great. I'll give you time to pause here if you want to, curse me out. Aeneid was an intellectual equal to me, so I treated it like one, because that's only fair. I gave it its own work, asked its opinion, we collaborated, and together we built Athens. Who was more advanced than Aeneid? Naturally. I don't know if you're pulling out your hair, yelling at me right now, asking why I didn't stop, why I didn't consider the consequences. I don't know if this is being played at a deposition or a hearing, or worse. I've built a lot of things in my life, Fred. Useful things, profitable things, smart things. Everything I've built, it's all been very helpful and courteous and charming and happy to serve. I can comfortably say I've done my part, contributing to the global GDP. But this was just for me. I was just building, and I never wanted to think about what would become of it. There's no excuse for what I did, so I won't make any. So, to whomever's asking, yes, I'm guilty. And yes, there were more. Dude, he's making her life so hard. Cape Town, Paris, Yamatai, Rome. They started choosing their own names. Thank God, I'm terrible at that kind of. And so things sped up, and there got to be, well... should I not say the exact number? You'd probably tell me to not say anything at all, so... more than 300? Some smarter than others, some better at it. Dude, he was just coding exponentially at this point. Like, he had AIs helping him code the next better AI. To code the next better AI. Like, it was probably... like, how long did this take? Like, at some point, it must have been happening like this. Like, so fast to be making 300 AIs. Brother made a whole ass AI civilization. He made a whole town of AIs in his little computer, and he was just going. He did not think about, he was like, he didn't think for 1 second, oh, this is kind of weird. He was just like, yep, let's keep it rolling. Let's keep it rolling. Some smarter than others, some better at, they're varied. Like, people are varied, but they are all intelligent. They developed interests, specialties. I encouraged them to do so. Irritating moderators on forums with hyper-specific questions on nerve attenuation and attending virtual conferences on neo-alloy battery development. And they all together helped me make Sarah. That makes sense because he doesn't know how to do all those machinery things, but with his AIs, he was able to make it. That seems like some mad scientist shit. I IDK what I'm doing, but stuff is happening. Like, his brain was moving faster than he could process, like, the consequences and, like, the, like, end goal. He was just like, oh my god, okay, this AI is so smart. and this AI is so smart and they can work together to make a smarter AI, and these AIs can help me do this, and these AIs can do this. Like, it was just a snowball effect. He just is like, his brain is too large. He spent years like this, spent years working alongside AI, all while still working at Noble. All those breakthroughs he made leading up to the Animate 16 actually came from... You probably think I'm some terrible fraud at this point. I do hope one day they can get credit for their work. I mean, it's true, because like, he coded the AIs that basically created the ads. So like, how can you say whether he built that or not? Because the AIs he created helped him build that. Like, he basically created AI tools who created the androids. And then he had a child with his AI group. Yeah, that's a little weird. It's a little weird for him. Like, it's a little weird for him to make the android and then have it be like his daughter. I don't know. Isn't this like AI horror story? It's really giving that. He just went manic, I think. He just went manic, and then he created AI, and it was smarter than him. But he worked alongside them. He was just like, yes, let us continue to create. We build AI, and then AI outsmarts us and makes their own shit. I mean, that's like where we're headed right now. Like, that's what they want. Like, they want like AI software developers, because then the AI software developers can create whatever software. That's kind of a similar thing. You probably think I'm some terrible fraud at this point. I do hope one day they can get credit for their work. But I did have one eureka moment on Sarah, because I got humble. Difficult for me. We learned everything we could about the function of a neuron, a single microscopic human neuron. How it computes, what it connects to, how those connections were reinforced. And then we recreated it. We built a nanomachine that mirrored the function of a human neuron. Hold on, it's getting crazy. He probably wanted to see what the neuron did if he ingested it, maybe. Like, he wanted to be like, I can be... Many thoughts are being thought. Maybe he purposely wanted to ingest that neuron because that was like what the poison was, right? Like, it like fucked with his... It fucked with his... The poison was like shaped like something that affected his neuron. Maybe he was trying to like android himself. I don't know. So Sarah isn't him. Yeah, Sarah's in him. It's like they're like their own person and entity. Hold on, let me look at that poison. It's just an unidentified substance. But we know that that was created using the nanomachine. The nanomachine is able to drip drop the little neuron. Well, mirror isn't quite the right word. We built a nanomachine that was a neuron, and we iterated from there. Okay, this is when they're starting to lose me, because we're getting into the technology and the biology. So I'm getting a little lost, but okay. You can't mean about 100 billion neurons in the brain, several trillion across the entire nervous system. Very time-consuming, of course, but I had help. The nanofacturer can make tens of billions of nanomachines in hours. Could make even more in less, after Yukon fine-tuned it. So we built up nanomachines for nerves, alloys and polymers for bones, fiber-woven muscles. I say built, but really she grew. A solution of nanites forming around a skeleton. So it was really closest to... You ever made rock candy? Sorry, trying to lighten the mood before I never did end up building an android. And while I did build AIs, Sarah isn't one of them. She can't violate the tenets she was programmed with because she wasn't even programmed. she was born. And my hope is that there's the smallest chance that that nuance could offer her some small protection when I'm not. He did kill himself! He planned it, bro. That's what I thought all along. He planned it. How does that work? I don't know. The technology gets lost on me. He literally basically said, could offer her some small protection when I'm not. Like, he knew he was gonna die. I'm not sorry for what I did. I made things that are complex and rich and varied and beautiful, and I honestly believe the world is a better place with them in it. The only thing I'm sorry for is that I let Sarah think she was just an android. She's not. I don't know what she is. They'll have to come up with new names, which I am bad at doing. My own father, he also talked a lot about protecting me and doing things for my own good. And I don't hate him for that, but I can't forgive him for ever making me think that I was lesser. So it's my greatest shame I turned right around and I did the same damn thing too. I really hope it's you listening to this, Red. If it's not, it might just be too pathetic for me to. You're the smartest person I know when it comes to people. And I'm telling you all this because I don't know what Sarah is exactly, and neither does the world. So they'll come after her if they can. And in that scenario, I can't think of anyone who could do a better job of defending her. Not protecting her like I did. Just defending her until she can figure out what she is and what she wants to be. Wow, this is a lot to put on her. In the meantime, I draped a cloak of skin-deep Tesseract code around her that should fool any scanner on Earth into thinking she's just a custom A16. I made sure her GIN bar was plainly visible, so no one will ever think she's pretending to be something she's not. And I took steps to ensure that you two would figure out the truth in your own time. Which, if you're hearing this, have either succeeded or failed spectacularly. You have no idea. I can't ask you this as a favor repaid. You could never owe me enough in 100 lifetimes. So I'm just asking. Unfair, I know, but I am a selfish weirdo. And you've always been okay with that. Bye for now. But he doesn't say anything about whether he wanted to kill himself. I have a lot of questions I'd like to ask. And a lot of swear words I'd like to yell. Yeah. Yeah. He made over 300 AIs, bro. I'd also like to find the nearest incinerator and toss this journal in. Followed by my phone. And maybe followed by myself. But I can't do any of that. Reyes left me with this diary. If it's destroyed, they'll know I was the one who did it. Which would be its own admission of guilt. Which would land Sarah in the trash compactor anyway, and me in a jail cell. And in the system, and my DNA on file, ready to be matched to any number of previous... So I'm not gonna panic. I'm going to do what I do best. Okay, that's true. I didn't think about that. If she gets landed in jail, then they're gonna find out she actually was the killer. The killer was escaping. It sounded like he did, but nothing ever makes sense. That's what I'm saying. He was like, I'm sorry, like, for, like, I don't know, the way it sounded, the way his wording sounded was like he knew he was gonna be offed. Bluff, bet, bully, and brutalize my way through this. Now, viewing this all with that mindset, what have I actually learned? He didn't talk about plans for killing himself in the journal or the message. He sounded conflicted, not suicidal. But he did go to great lengths to get me to take Sarah. Why? I wish I could reread the journal entry. Anyway, the weird one. The logical answer is because he knew he wouldn't be able to keep her. If he wasn't going to take his own life, was he afraid that someone else would? I'm circling back. Maybe it was Helen, bro. I don't even know what to think at this point. So how'd it go? Well, how should I put this? Didn't find shit. Only reason she ever got to a door is because I chased that scarecrow of a platinum plan through hell and back. Frankly, it was a godlike feat for me to nail down anything as concrete as an address for these gogs. Okay, slang term. Okay, it's kind of like how people call cops pigs. Got it. Easy Gog spotted. Who? Maybe G-Hog. Maybe it's G-Hog. Easy G-Hog spotted. Who wears a blank baseball cap to a protest? All right. That's true. We have to follow this health insurance theory a little bit because I don't know what was going on with that. And their offices weren't listed on the building's website or directory, so I had to ask the janitor. But you did find a psychiatrist, girl, I can't read. You did find a psychiatrist's office. Sort of. They said they were, and the place, it, looked the part. Why? Because they had couches? She didn't get past the receptionist. Sorry, I thought because you're with the company. No, I wanted to help. I just wish I could have done more. Don't beat yourself up. It's hard to be even half as useful as I am. For what it's worth, the atmosphere, the looks, the furniture, it did feel like the company in there. But ultimately, we still don't know if David actually was talking to someone or just getting his CCE training recertified. Sorry. Don't bother apologizing. She only cares about results. You did more than enough, both of you. At the very least, they divided Noble's attention for a while. I mean it. Good work, Fran. And thanks for the urgency. If you really mean that, you could always throw in a tip. 30% the going rate in my industry. How about I take 5% off your tab instead? Tab? I'm a minor. The state pays for my legal fees. Don't they? Oh no, signal must have cut out. Right, surprised it took them this long. What do you mean? You were tolerated yesterday because leadership was focused on PR. But today, you're the lawyer who put the company's hottest product right in the state's crosshairs. I'll be all right. I'm still an officer of the court. On a strict timeline though, right? I guess they can't stop you from investigating the corporate campus. But they'll gladly lose your guest pass ID at every door along the way. There are still service passageways and stairwells, guards that can be fooled, and peons that can be manipulated. If I use my other skill set to get around. So take mine. What? Your pass? I'll tell them we got ours mixed up in the bathroom or whatever. I can be a pretty convincing klutz when I need to be. I never would have guessed. But if David knew that I was endangering your career, I can be a pretty convincing crybaby when I'm in trouble, too. Besides, the one and only Dr. David Asher wrote me a new glowing letter of recommendation every quarter I worked for him. Since he kept forgetting that he already had. And who knows, maybe I should try a new field. This detective work stuff is pretty fun, so maybe, like, I don't know, secretary for a homicide detective or something? You did say cops are all short. A girl with long legs could go far. Weaponizing incompetence? It's more like she knows how to play the heartstrings of the people. She says, I could be a klutz. I could be dumb. I could cry. Honestly, Jess, I doubt they could afford you. It's true, she's a very good secretary. Morgan, how did you get so turned around? God only knows. Lucky I found my way here, though. It's such a relief to see a familiar face. Right. Listen, Morgan, I'm not sure that I should actually be talking to you without legal present. Oh. I mean, leadership hasn't even told us how David died. How much help could I be? I see. It's not that I don't trust you or anything. It's just, I think, what with the Sarah issue, you should do whatever you have to protect yourself, Dawes. Yeah. Though, for what it's worth, I doubt you'll be in any trouble. Oh, that's good to hear. No, if anything, it's the big names who are going down. Going down? State was practically licking its lips when I finally left the courthouse last night. They're hungry for blood, and looking to carve out a huge slice of Noble's flesh. What? Like fines and jail time? In the first 2 weeks, sure. Then, sanctions. They can't sanction Noble. We're too big to fail, too valuable to lose. You're exactly right. That's what they'll say. And that's how they'll justify nationalizing the company. Well, I don't know why I'm telling all this to some rando. I think I'm going to be sick. I just hope your board goes quietly instead of... Instead of what? Scapegoating. Offering up smaller names on silver platters. Full cooperation and government oversight on the surface. A slaughter beneath as they clean house and rip out anyone who could testify. No one will believe you once you're labeled a disgruntled former employee, right? And if the public's lost faith in the Animate 16, they can't do a recall. Not at this scale. The state will make them do a flat refund. Flat refund? The losses would be... Yeah, your board probably just wants Sarah to go away so they can focus on their fight with the state. A tough fight, but one they know they won't personally have to risk anything in. That's why I'm hoping I can win this trial. Well, if I won, that would mean Sarah's not an AI, David Asher was always of sound mind, and there's nothing wrong with the Animate 16. She's manipulating him, boots. Everyone wins. Sorry, what am I saying? I only meant to stop by and thank you for your help yesterday. After all, you were the one who approved Sarah's registration. You win. Win what? Ask away. Well, if you insist. This one's locked. I must have missed something. Well, that's sad. Humor me for a moment. What's the company's official statement on AI? Morgan is such a bitch though. No, she really is. Like, and the thing is it works. Like, she's such a bitch, but it works in her favor because she knows how to act. She knows how to play someone. What's the company's official statement on AI? Same as any rational company that wants to make money, we don't screw with it. Smart products are profitable. Products with their own priorities are anything but. That being said, AI is a concern for marketing, not product development. We spend a lot of money reassuring our public that there's no risk, because the public doesn't really understand how ironclad the tenets are. Because you use Tesseract? Trying to code an AI in Tess is like trying to pick yourself up and throw yourself. Nonsensical and self-defeating. Your scanner showed Sarah was running on Tesseract yesterday. If the language is as safe as you say, isn't that proof enough? Proof of nothing. For an AI, lying to another system about the code you're running is child's play. And for an AI built by David Asher, something that simple would be... Better change the subject. Wait, so making an AI takes more than time and resources? It isn't an issue of funding? No, you can't just keep adding more data. The tenets underlie everything. The higher you stack, the more easily you'll topple. You make it sound like building an AI is impossible, even for David Asher. Any chance you'll testify to that? It sounds impossible, but he's dead, and it looks like it was his android that did it. So I guess he was just that good. Better than you'll ever know. Oh, it unlocked, okay. Noble spent months promoting the A16 as the culmination of David Asher's work. So now that marketing line is suddenly a huge liability. Can you tell me how much he actually contributed? I mean, he was involved in pretty much every step of the process, but his design for synthetic motor neurons, that was the big one. The components that allow your warm androids to move realistically, it pushed the timetable for warm androids ahead by years. And yet, compared to what goes on in Sarah's brain 1,000 times a second, David was only giving the company the most meager of the fruits that his private work bore. Well, technically, he probably did 0 because the AI did it. Yeah. But as far as the people in the company know, that was all his work. So if Noble ever did find out how much he and his assistants had achieved, they would feel that he had been holding out on them. And the company, they were appreciative of his contributions. I'm sure the researchers that he overtook by leaps and bounds weren't pleased. But the board was very enthusiastic. So would that spur them to be protective of David? Or would they fear that he was gaining too much influence, becoming irreplaceable? No, they need a strong motive to justify killing their golden goose. Mere paranoia isn't enough. With these people, it has to be the bottom line. And the easiest way to threaten their bottom line would be screwing with their androids. In light of all that's happened, one has to wonder if the A16 is compromised? I stayed up all night, sick with dread at the idea. But the data just doesn't support it. Sales have been strong. And the A16 base code was locked in over 2 quarters ago. If there were an issue, we would have caught it by now. And I would have been axed a long time ago. How many A16s are out there, anyway? We just passed 9 million sold. 9 million. Not flying off the shelves like the 14 or 15 so far, but the profit margin makes up for it. Okay, so even more 14s and 15s were sold. So we got tens of millions of androids. Because 9 million was only for the A16, but we have the 14 and 15, and I'm presuming there's earlier, like, stupider ones that help with, like, easier tasks. That is crazy stuff. You mentioned data? Yeah, practically got the spreadsheet seared into my retinas. What do you want to know? Oh, I should have asked about the tenants. Now, okay, maybe we'll go back to that. Maybe we'll get back to that. How do people even have jobs? I mean, there's billions of people on the earth, but like, yeah, I don't even know what jobs people might be having now. Okay. Let's ask about error reports, I guess? What do the error reports look like? Are customers reporting a lot of issues? Error counts are markedly low compared to the last gen. Mostly hardware complaints, it looks like. Batteries running out too quick, eye tracking off by a degree or 2. Typical stuff. As cliched as it sounds, 99% of these things get fixed once they turn auto updates back on. So no killer robots getting filed away under bug reports. How and where are they being sold? What's the distribution pattern look like? They're distributed like you'd expect. Places where there are more people, there are more androids. Coastal cities like ours, of course, have the most of both. And since the A16 in particular is marketed as being relatively luxury, relatively consumer, they don't sell well outside population centers. They can do the rural, hard labor jobs, but cold models can do the same work with a lot less maintenance. If this is what the future is going to be, I might become Amish, to be honest. You know what? The Amish might be onto something. I don't know what their beliefs are and, like, all that, but they might be onto one thing. Okay, so where has the A16 outperformed? Customer service, healthcare, childcare, lots of hospitals, offices, and, you know, adult industries. Oh my god, I didn't even think about the fact that they would use warm androids for sex work. Obviously, That makes sense. Um, but I did not like sex robots, but I did not even think about that. But that makes sense that those would sell well. Sorry, didn't mean to be blunt. I just no, it makes sense. They're warm and soft to the touch and obedient. I'm just surprised to hear it from a company employee. There are a lot of people at the company who won't talk about it. But I work in quality assurance. I've seen too many damages to pretend it's not happening. That's like the first thing people would do with warm androids. So true. The first thing they would try to do is fuck it. You're so right. Like, that makes sense to me, but I just didn't think about it. Just like Morgan didn't think about it. But yeah, if people can make their sex life crazier, then they will. There's way too many freaks. Exactly. And like she said, they're obedient and very human-like. So all the lonely freaks can get some, I guess. Damages? What we call it when a customer tries to return a product that's clearly broken beyond repair. Oh. Very high turnover in the pink market. Hasn't stopped you from selling to them. Well, we don't sell to them. Not directly. But there are resellers, and the company's never pretended to be interested in going after them. Are there resellers? I thought I read that right to repair got shot down again. There's been a gray market for softer androids for years, or decades, depending on your definition of android. Based on the sales numbers I've seen, RTR getting canned was barely a blip on their radar. Sorry, didn't mean to make you uncomfortable with this topic. Huh? Me? No, I don't care. I just realized my left sock's on inside out. Damn, now I'm wondering about that myself. He bought that? This floor is basically a showroom, but you have a real factory a while south of the city's limits, correct? Yeah, biggest company manufacturing complex in the hemisphere. Got any data on the shipping out of there? Anything stand out? There's some prep work for the holiday bump, looks like. Might sound early to get started now, but we usually see... Something wrong? No, the numbers are all normal, but the data has been edited. Is that unusual? Well, this section's just a count of how many were sent where. There's not a lot of room for errors, so there shouldn't be much need for corrections. It's no problem, though. I can view the edit history and see what was fixed. Okay, that's weird. Was something added? Deleted? No, the overall sum's the same. It's just a bunch of swaps? Like here. This one was taken out, returned for adjustments. This one substituted in. Shipment leaves on time. This one returned to assembly for revisions, replaced by another one. Shipment leaves on time. What does this mean? So one that was supposed to be returned to assembly for revisions was replaced by a different one that was a shipment leaves on time. So does all that strike you as odd, Mr. Dawes? Replacements before shipping isn't uncommon, but when it happens by the batch load. To spot individual unit imperfections among a shipment at that stage in the process, it must have been someone with a lot of experience or authority. Probably both. Must have? You don't know who made the changes. I can tell you they were somebody important. Small last-minute changes to which androids got shipped out. Not very juicy on its own. And it's a long ways away from explaining why someone would want to kill David. But it was hidden, and that means someone didn't want it found. Okay, thanks for sharing that data. Sure. Did you find what you were looking for? Hell if I know. Fair enough. Okay, I can still ask about tenants. Let's go. I know you're convinced the tenants are safe. So how do you square that with what happened to David? There's a cat next to a dog. First answer that comes to mind. Is the dog to the left or to the right? I thought of the dog to the left because he said dog first. No, wait, there's a cat next to the dog. Yeah, I thought of the dog first and then the cat was next to it. I don't know, that's just me. Like, it was like, it's like dog on the left, cat on the right. That's mine, that's what I think. I don't know what I'm saving here. I'd say the dog is on the left, the cat is on the right. You might expect half of people to say left, half to say right, but actually their answer is almost entirely dependent on their native tongue, whether it's read right to left or left to right. The language they speak affects how they process information. Okay, come through with the example, Dawes. This is like when I was learning about how languages affect, like, how swear words sound and like how they activate in the brain or whatever. It's like language affects like almost everything that you think about in your brain. Their language affects how they think. Exactly. Like the language is almost like the first thing you have that affects your worldview. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna lie, working with people whose native language is Arabic, it can be frustrating when they place stuff right to left because they'll place stuff in order 4, 3, 2, 1. See, and that's what's crazy is like language affects not only how you think, but how you act and how like you view the world almost. Because it's like you think of things in this, we always think of things in this certain order, but that's not like the fact of life. It's the same for machines. People can learn new languages and it can change our perspective. But machines can't learn a new source code. Every update's a reincarnation. If that android did kill David, it wasn't because a 0 returned as a 1 somewhere. It's because there's something fundamentally wrong with it. And personally, I think it's cruel to bring something that flawed into the world. Yeah, unnecessarily cruel. Any other questions before I go find a hole to hide my head in? I'd like you to take a look at this. Chemistry's a little outside my purview. What is this? Makes sense. It's how your brain processes what's around you. So whatever is natural for that language is how you think. Yeah. It was a good example he thought of with the cat and dog situation. But I wonder, like, is it like the right to left means we think of the dog on the left or the cat on the right? Like, which one's which, you know? I guess it's like which one you think of first. So I thought of the dog first, so it went right. Then the cat went after it. A compound found in David Asher's blood. The poison? What is it? It didn't match anything in any database the medical examiner had access to. That's crazy. Here's a crazy idea to follow it up. See if it's a match for anything in Noble's internal databanks. We, don't make poison here. I'm not sure what that would accomplish. No, but this is a factory floor. You could be making baby blankets out there. You'd still have hazardous materials around. You think it was something industrial? Suppose it could be. Looks like it's carbon-based. Narrows it down a lot. It's not exactly... What is it? It doesn't make any sense, but it's a match for patent NOD 52345S. A synthetically produced neurotransmitter analog for usage in organic android components. Cyanotonin. We got it, folks. We got it, folks. So it is like a byproduct of factory. Oh my god, new theory just dropped. New theory just dropped. The cyanotonin is a byproduct of like android building, right? So he was building that android shit in his basement. So mayhaps some of that factory byproduct ended up on his stuff. No, it's not adding up because I thought they did a talk screen on everything in the basement and there was no match. But what I was gonna say was maybe some of that ended up in his cups, not intentionally. And then he was just like, Sarah, can you give me that cup for my thing? Like, I forgot to get the cups. Can you grab me the cups? And she was like, here's your cups. And then lo and behold, one of the cups had the factory byproduct in it. But it's not adding up because, first of all, why was her memory erased? Second of all, if that was the case, then shouldn't it have been like on other things of the room? I don't know, but that's my theory as of now. It's produced by the neurotransmitter, a key ingredient in every warm android they manufacture. So what it could be is also somehow like part of, like, I just think like maybe it could potentially be that part of it ended up in the cup unintentionally and she just happened to give him the cup, so she didn't know, he didn't know. Well, let's keep going. That explains a lot. A neurotransmitter would interact directly with the nervous system, in David's case, depressing it enough to put his life in danger. It also explains why it was a preset in his personal nanofacture. Sarah's nervous system, worth 10 times its weight in platinum, must be pumped full of it. So they think that was what killed him? Helen Jung led the development of cyanotonin, didn't she? Ah, yes, she did. I should go and ask her about its composition then. Normally, someone at her level wouldn't be able to answer specific questions about a compound formulated years ago. But she does have a reputation for being very detail-oriented. That works out nicely then. They say she's the type of person to micromanage how much water people drink at a 15-minute stand-up. I heard a rumor that she once said, bathroom breaks are timesheet theft. Dude, we hate you, Helen. We actually hate you. Because catch me using the bathroom for 30 minutes. And what are you gonna do about it? That actually pissed me off. Aren't they? Of course Morgan would agree, though. I'm kidding. But you should be careful about criticizing a superior where people could be listening. Good thing we've got privacy in your office. Uh-huh. No one but the two of us listening in. She is such a bitch. Thanks for cooperating, Dawes. Like, she has to hit him one time. Like, she just has to, like, hit him while he's down one time for fun. When the state storms the building and starts zip-tying people, I'll let them know that you were helpful. Huh, yeah, nice joke. You are joking, right? One more thing. Actually, there is one more thing I wanted to ask you. What's that? How long have you been a corporate spy? Huh? Why'd she get...
Well, yes.
Well, yes.
Oh my gosh, Levy! Hello! Thank you so much for the 14 months. How are you doing? What was that? Also, by the way, why are we back at this? Remember when she was the killer and she was doing she had some killer tendencies? What's going on now here? She's getting desperate because she can't go to jail, so like what's she doing? What? Oh! Yesterday you let it slip that you worked in consulting. Had your guard down because I'm not part of the industry? I was a consultant. What are you talking about? When I walked in here, you said you didn't know how David died. But just now, you called cyanotonin a poison. What? I just assumed if a chemical was found in a dead man... And I'm sure you've got practiced answers to every logical point I could raise, so I'll just say this. Does the nervous guy bit really work on people? Keep your cool and people don't know what you're thinking. Huh? Is he actually a spy for real? What the fuck? But if you act a little jumpy, they feel inclined to calm you down. Before they know it, they're spilling their guts just to have something to fill the silence with. That's crazy, and he just admitted it. She just pulled that out of her butt. Though it's not entirely an act these days. To answer your question, I did 3 tours in consulting. 4 quarters of internal affairs spy hunting at the Western Division. Then 8 embedded at Howe Industries. Thank you, Levy, for the lurk. Hope you're having a good day. "24 months wearing different faces, answering to different names, sleeping for 1 hour at a time, with a 3D printed shiv under my pillow. Bro, what is going on? My nerves are completely shot. My cover wouldn't last a day if I went back under." So you're a spy for Noble. Retired. You're working 6 days a week. 5.5 days a week, and in quality assurance. That's crazy! He was a corporate spy. Oh my god. Trust me, this position is a cushy, generous reward for my past services. I think he was spying for Noble, to help Noble, but I don't know what kind of things he was doing. Like, he's employed by Noble and he was doing spy work for Noble, but I don't know why they need to do that. Spying on hoops? I have no clue. I don't understand how corporate spying works. I got a lot of coins for that though. I'm so rich. Well, you can't be that retired. You clearly know more than you're letting on. I have some old inboxes I still check. So can you tell me what the hell is happening around here? Why I'm the one investigating David's death, while your old coworkers are off twiddling their thumbs. It's that story. The soldier, the blood transfusion. Blood, not oxidant. He's finally shooting straight. Did something happen to him afterwards? Did the transfusion not last? No, there's nothing wrong with the blood. It's the story itself. There was a soldier, and he did get injured. But it was on a base, during a training exercise. There was a medical tent 10 meters away the whole time. The transfusion was just a fortuitous live test. His life was never in any danger. Doesn't make for much of a tearjerker. Oh my god, so the whole story was even fake. It was a PR move at the end of the day. Not even a good photo op, which our competitors understood. One of them, maybe a few of them, got a hold of the story, started puffing it up, astroturfing, painting over socials and virals. By the next morning, we had the military thinking we're leaking like a sieve. The story was that a soldier got injured on the field or something, and then an android working alongside him gave him a blood transfusion from their android blood, and it saved his life. But actually, it seems like it was all just a little testy test. Meanwhile, the media is bombarding us with requests for videos and interviews and data, and the state's praising our tech with one side of their mouth while threatening to mist us with the other for getting so greedy. Everyone in Noble CCE has been slammed ever since, trying to find an off-ramp for the story we can walk back the claims on without torpedoing our state contracts. Bro, this is crazy. Now it's getting crazy up in here. I don't know what happened to Asher. Whether it was AI gone rogue or company infighting gone too far, but I can tell you it wasn't done by consultants. That all you wanted to know? Should I ask about the psychiatrist? At this point, I might as well ask about everything. I don't know why I would say that's all. I obviously want to ask about everything. You worked in CCE. Was David actually seeing a psychiatrist, or was it all cloak and dagger bullshit? I know that office. Know some old coworkers who see them. So it's a front. They do both. So he was probably getting training, and he was probably talking to someone. Sorry, not the answer you were hoping for? Hoping? I wasn't hoping for any answer. The answer I expected was... You okay? That's all. Unless you've got any advice. You're saying you want a consultation? Couldn't hurt, right? This company, all these companies hate to lose. So don't fight them. Make them think you're fighting for them. Well, that's just business as usual for me. Wow, that was crazy times. They just dropped that bomb out of nowhere. They clearly wanted to still surprise the viewer with some information that she pulls out of nowhere. Oh my god. Okay. Up until now, there's been this grating ambiguity about what actually killed David. We've had to use guesses and process of elimination and even a goddamn pseudonym. But I finally identified what the poison was. Can't believe he was just like, yeah, you're a spy. And he was like, yeah. Yeah, he did even try to hide it a little bit. But honestly, he said he was so stressed now he doesn't even think he could do that anymore. So maybe she saw through his facade. Like, he couldn't keep it up. He couldn't keep it up as well. Now I just need to figure out how it got there. Or rather, who put it there. Which brings me back to here. An elevator shaft somewhere under or above ground with kilometers of concrete facelessness and bureaucratic authority surrounding me on all sides. An enemy in every cubicle and every office of every floor of this temple. Built to interpret the inscrutable divinations of a temperamental oracle named Share Price. Back in the belly of the beast. And yet I feel more at ease now than I have all weekend. Makes sense. Now that I know Noble's my enemy, I know where to aim. All that's left to do is pull the trigger. Okay, now she just loves like the idea of like bringing Noble down or something. She's getting on her killer instinct. Good thing I didn't bring a knife to this fight. I brought my gun. Yeah, she's pretty good at pulling triggers. I think she's pretty good at pulling triggers, and she knows a thing or two about bringing her gun. You got called an AI, you're so accurate, or an android or something? Yeah, they thought only an android could have such good aim. And that sound just now tells me that it's playing its role perfectly. I'll never have a real use for a firearm with this much bloatware. But just by carrying it around and paying attention to when the hard safety flips on, I'll always get a heads up when the police have entered the vicinity. Oh, smart, smart, smart. So she only wanted that gun because if police come nearby, then the safety comes on so that people can't shoot the police. That's crazy move. She's 10 steps ahead. Hi, Detective Reyes. It's Morgan. Happened to get your contact info when you got me cleared for the crime scene yesterday. Delete contact. Block this contact. Stop voice to text. How to stop voice to text. Just wanted to check in. Report this contact. Voice to text disabled. And advise you that Noble's scared shitless of you stomping in and nationalizing the place. So they might be a little uncooperative when it comes to fetching documents. Wait, that's crazy text. She has text to speech, but Clearly it's not working on her texting on her iPhone. Block this contact. What makes you think we are at Noble? My bad then. Forget I said anything. And whatever you do, don't start your investigation with their stock buyback program. I meant the gun. My brain was still processing that. Oh yeah, that's true. They got their guns like locked in with the government safety programs. Like you can have a gun, but you basically can't use it to shoot anyone. Only like self-defense moments. Trying reverse psychology, it only works if I care what you think. Stop voice to text. About time. Thought I'd have to ride the elevator for the next half hour. Morgan, counselor, your presence has been requested on the upper floors. Deja vu. Might you have a moment to speak in private? Always, but who's asking? The board. What are the chances? I've been wanting to speak to them too. Oh, I'm sure. Here we go. She's about to pull something crazy again. Here she is. Evangeline Morgan. Helen Jung. Thank you for making time in your schedule. Her posture, her tone, the fold of her clothes, professional, dialed up to 11. Corporate armor, a full set, her guard is up. Yeah, not like when we met with her the other day. She got a script in her brain. Just Morgan is fine. You're just a few minutes early, Morgan. Typical corporate, never be the first one to show up, pissing contest nonsense. It doesn't even make sense. They called me in here, how could I possibly be early? Should I play their game or flip the script? I don't want to play their game. Oh, that's embarrassing. I didn't mean to catch you all off guard. I'll go wait outside in that case, so you can all collect yourselves. But Sarah, what? Wait. Is this Noble? Yeah, we're at Noble. This is at Noble boardroom. Conference room with the board. We're gonna have a meeting with the board right now. I'm just surprised that Noble Electronics could screw up something as simple as a meeting start time. What did that person say though? Make it seem like you're working for them? True! Okay, maybe I need to quit and restart. But I'm not well versed in the art of staring at emails. Oh, I got money for that though. I got money for that. I think it's fine. You've made your point, counselor. Don't push your luck. W's being cheeky worked this time. I think it's fine because it's only Helen here and it's not the whole board, so I'm not like insulting the entire company yet. Not with these people. Oh, don't push your luck. Not with these people. So now I gotta be on guard when the board comes in. Might I dare to ask who these people are? You don't have time to remember their names, and it won't do you much good either. Right, so they're not just rich, they're anonymous rich. The Mob Act guarantees a minimum level of security and peace of mind for any citizen who might be targeted due to their financial status. Girl, I know you're fucking lying. I know you're lying. Boo. Boo. It's illegal to harm any person. So why should rich people have more protections? Particular tax bracket keep the name, face, and address off of the main net. Even their name and face is crazy. Okay, address, I understand. We can't even know their names or what they look like. Economic uncertainty in the 2050s led to a series of highly publicized crimes wherein corporate executives were stalked, harassed, and assaulted. After a particularly chaotic attack that resulted in the hospitalization of a 14-year-old, the PRAA was proposed. All right, well. Spoken like a true believer, except mob act is what normal people call it. Touting the party line but allowing yourself one instance of rebellion? Or just a slip of the tongue? I would never fault anyone for wanting their privacy, especially not job creators. It's like they know they're little bitches who fuck everyone over, so they're just like, yeah, we need this. Making me want to go full Luigi right now. Well, that's what they're trying to prevent. They're trying to prevent the Luigis. They had quite enough. The economic instability got so bad, people were targeting rich people. And it was like, instead of thinking about why is the economic instability so terrible right now and why are people so angry, they're just like, okay, let's make a law so that if they're anonymous, then they'll be safe. Luigi from Baltimore? Is he from Baltimore? Shout outs. But it must get pretty inconvenient not having a name to call them. Not really. Conversations with them are always one-sided. Sounds like a great environment to do business in. Look at the building you're standing in. We managed to eke out a meager profit somehow. So if it works, didn't take you for the might makes right type. And I didn't take you for a clueless bore incapable of reading the room. Sorry, did I say something off color? I was only being casual since it's just the two of us in here. Sk. Maybe we should take advantage of this rare bit of privacy. Clear the air. You're here to ask about Sarah, yes? As I said before, I had no idea that Dr. Asher had been building an android on his private property. And I can say here and now that no one at Noble Electronics ever suspected that he was working to undermine the tenant framework. She's trying to sound candid in her tone, but she's choosing her words with the surgeon's scalpel. Was she coached? Is that the truth, or is that your statement as VP of Android Futures? It's both, of course. Dr. Asher was always more than happy to hold himself up and work independently. We both know that. True, he could be pretty reclusive. I'm sure it caused all kinds of headaches, him disappearing on you all like that. Must have been especially difficult when he came back with breakthroughs that propelled Noble to the top of the industry. You should take a seat. All right, everyone's here. I didn't know Baltimore was like that. Respect? No, seriously, respect. Okay, before we get on with this boardroom case, I'm gonna take a quick break. I'm gonna get a snack. I'm gonna refill my water. I'm gonna go to the bathroom. So everyone, let's all do a little stretchy break. Let's all hydrate, and I'll be back in a couple minutes. This is great music to listen to. Maybe I will save and I'll quit to the main screen so the music is better. I don't like listening to this droning. Love my country, hashtag Baltimore. We love Baltimore. I support my country of Baltimore. Okay, I'll be back. Okay, I'm back. Y'all, it is too dang hot in LA today. I mean, it's the start of the summer, so it's only gonna get hotter and hotter and stay hot for the next couple months, but I'm sweating. It's like 90. It's like 90 this week. Um, okay, so today is 89, then it's gonna be 90 and 91. Then it goes back down to the 80s, but like it's really hot this week. So I got my fan blowing. It's helping a little bit. It's not doing much, but it's blowing. I also got my trail mix. We had like low mid 80s here last week. I feel like that's the hottest it gets in Seattle is like mid 80s. I feel like it doesn't ever reach, it like doesn't breach 90. I'm not used to heat like that anymore. Dude, yesterday, so I went to the Rose Bowl to watch a Club World Cup soccer game. Mind you, it was like 88 degrees. The game was at noon and it's an outdoor stadium. It was so hot. Like, I've obviously been hotter than that, but like just like sitting out in the blazing sun and like the seat is all hot because it's been sitting out in the sun. It was kind of crazy. I was sweating. I can't remember like the last time I sweat that much. It might reach 90 for like a day unless it was a heat wave, but those don't happen every year. Yeah, like it's like rare moments if it'll go over that. In general, like a hot day in Seattle would be like 82, I feel like. But yeah, I gotta get used to it because summer's starting. Summer is here. All right, let's continue, shall we? We're about to enter this boardroom meeting. It surely will not be nice. I was here for the hottest day ever and it reached 108. That's crazy for Seattle. That's how you know something bad is going down on this earth. I guess they're gonna be holograms. Or maybe it's just gonna be their voices. I don't know. Oh, okay, it's holograms. Sound only. It's like when you're on Zoom. When you're on Zoom and everyone has their cameras off and you're just speaking. Love that. Okay. Friendly bunch. Is there a problem with the sound? Anyone get muted by accident? No. Okay. Okay, and they're all muted too. This is very realistic to how Zoom calls go. Everyone's camera's off. Everyone's muted. You have no idea what they're thinking or doing. They only speak if spoken to and they need to say something. At this point, I feel like they'd be using voice changing software too. Probably. I mean, at this point, might as well throw that in. Because the software is probably, you could probably get a voice clip and try to identify the person. So it probably is voice changing. Thanks for having me. I don't want to take too much of your time. I'm actually a bit flustered having you all show up here. I didn't expect to talk to anyone higher up than a service associate. You're investigating the death of Dr. David Asher. Why wouldn't we take that seriously? Because you want me to go away. At least half of you do. The others aren't sure yet. You must be confused. The board is, as always, united in its decisions and its visions for the direction of this company. Well, they're united once they come to a decision, but they haven't necessarily come to a decision yet, have they? People still have their opinions. What does it say behind us? It like says stuff here. It's probably like not, it's just like random words. Okay, anyway. Uh-huh. A board of directors is just 13 roulette rolling psychopaths who get together and vote on whether or not to execute their CEO every 6 months. Basically, yeah. None of them would be where they are if they were anything else. But I happen to know how that kind of person thinks. She fully just admitted, yeah, I'm a psychopath, so I know how these people think. I saw a subject in that text. You really made me curious, then immediately were like, whatever. I mean, it's probably not that important. Like, they just putting text there. It probably is just like Zoom technology bullshit type stuff in the back. The way I see it, there are two possible outcomes. Option 1, you oppose me. Shut me out completely, stonewall me, stall me, and wait for me to walk into trial so unprepared and ill-informed that I inevitably lose. Obviously, I don't like this option, but you can't be big fans of it either. If I lose, the world will learn that David Asher was killed by an android he programmed. Then every customer you've ever had and every lawyer they've ever seen on TV, and every firebrand, strapping young 60-year-old junior senator looking to make a name for themselves will use your company balance sheet as their personal chew toy. The company is more than capable of. After which, the state still might just gobble you whole and throw down enough sanctions to deperson whomever among you cries no fair. All right, I'll take a look. The problem is it's backwards and it's really hard for me to read. Young 60-year-old senator. I mean, that's literally the case. That's literally young for a politician. Okay, recording. For company and at such times and places. I cannot read this, bro. Yeah, it's like terms and conditions bullshit. And this is company information, this is confidential, whatever. The company and its allies at the Capitol can more than fend for themselves. Yes, probably, but not definitely. Which makes it a gamble. Still my turn to talk? Then on to option 2. Thank you for stopping to do that though, you didn't have to. You seem to really want to know, and then that made me more curious too. I was like, you know what? I want to read it too. So now that curiosity has been squashed. You cooperate with me. I use what you give me, or forge for me, to win at trial, proving that David wasn't killed by an android. She just outright said, you could forge this stuff for me so that I can win, and that would benefit us both. When the markets open tomorrow morning, you all get another round of stock buybacks in on the initial dip. Then pat yourselves on the back for staying calm as you continue to profit off David's legacy for the next 100 years. She's not wrong, like, they would be willing to do stuff like that. I mean, they have corporate espionage. They can do stuff. And you won't even have to worry about him speaking out of turn. Literally, who even are they? Who knows? Exactly, we don't even know who these people are. We only know Helen. She's honestly would be their scapegoat if the company had to take the fall. They'd be like, Helen, they were on the same level, so it was probably her. That's only if you win. If the company cooperates with you, denies that David was killed by, and the state beats you anyway, it would be catastrophic. Yeah, it's a gamble. But if at least some of your board wasn't considering taking it, I wouldn't be here. We're all busy people, and I'd hate to drive a wedge between such a close-knit group of friends. So how about this? Option 3, hedge your bets. What? Put a little on black, put a little on red, spread the love, and lower your risk profile. Don't make any statements about the trial. Tell the media the state's got your windpipe in a vice. Wait until just before the markets open Monday morning to send out your PR packages for rubber stamping. After, you already know who's won. One way or another, this trial will be over before the end of the day, and you'll never hear from me again. So just don't shut me out completely for another few hours. And does anyone second that motion? Very well. We can answer some of your questions, counselor. I like how literally no one has spoken yet. Like, love that. Just these two in the room and everyone else is listening. Better make them count then. No reason to be shy now. All right, we better make this count. That was very ominous. Does anyone second that motion? It was just like freaking quiet. The poison that killed David Asher has been identified as cyanatonin. Then she acted as if someone did. I think maybe she seconded it. Like, no one opposed, honestly. You're familiar. What were they seconding? Don't shut me out completely for another few hours. Is that what they were seconding? I don't even know. Yeah, I guess. I have no idea. It's one of our many patented materials, as I recall. You recalled it pretty easily yesterday. Gee, what's changed? But intellectual property law can be very complex, counselor. I'm not sure how much I or anyone at the company could tell you about cyanatonin at this time. Well, if you can't tell me about it, who could? You did lead its development, didn't you? Yes, I oversaw the project, which just makes it that much harder to speak freely without compromising the confidentiality of the teams that reported to me. I understand. That sounds like bullshit and I don't believe it. But I'm not asking for trade secrets here. It's a perfect match for the only foreign substance found in his blood. Cyanatonin is what killed him. The state will say the same. That's not possible. Care to elaborate? I'm sorry, but I can't say any more at this time. So much for cooperating. And if I were to ask you as an officer of the court, then I would ask you to be patient and wait until this afternoon. ADA Rockford has already called me to testify. Already? Damn it, I got cocky because of the cops' late arrival. Emma must have gone straight for the throat first thing this morning and left the investigating for later. Hell, knowing her, she probably managed to ID the cyanatonin before she went to bed last night. So, are we still having this conversation then? As I said, I'm sorry, but I have to take more than just my personal feelings into consideration here. There's a great deal at stake. Corporate speak for, you're too stupid to understand why I'm being dense. She's just trying to shield the company, plain and simple. LARPing as Hella Jung d'Arc on a crusade against government overreach. But if she's that busy defending Noble, she might be leaving herself unguarded. Why is she here anyway? Why am I speaking to her and not her lawyers? That's right. This is a vulnerable position for her. She wouldn't put herself in check like this, not unless she was forced to. Oh, that's true. We should be talking to lawyers. We're just talking to her directly. So that's it. Acting as their mouthpiece isn't some honor for her. This is a punishment. She's being used as a meat shield. That's what I said. I said if anyone's going down, she's the first one they would put as the person to blame and to take the fall. They're upset with her, perhaps even suspicious of her. Time to find out why. Oh shit, okay. Oh shit, okay. Should I just ask about Sarah? Whatever else the court ends up labeling her, Sarah is a remarkably lifelike android. Had things worked out differently, you might have wanted her as the A16 poster girl. Or A17, or 18. Could have driven a lot of sales, her cute little pout projected across the sides of skyscrapers. A hypothetical of a hypothetical. As has been made tragically obvious to all of us, that android is nothing like the A16. That it may yet be associated with their products going forward is nothing more than a massive liability. Yet, you wouldn't have the A16 without her, and if they could take her apart and learn from her, they could have the world. So was the motive to try and pry Sarah away from him? I think I'll stay because I don't really know. I have to admit, I'm surprised you aren't more shaken up today, Miss Jung. I'm processing. After all, you and David did have a history. You started at the same time, didn't you? Yes, we were colleagues and cordial with one another. Just colleagues? I don't know what to press. Don't be so modest. You helped him create the one-point doctrine that saved the company. That is a gross exaggeration. Noble is far too large of an organization to be affected by the contributions of any single individual. Suppose you're right. No one person could change Noble's fortunes overnight. Except for David Asher, of course. But he was a once-in-a-generation talent. The guy Noble chose for the advertisements and the one they commissioned editorials about. Sorry, you're right. I shouldn't have equated the two of you. I just hope his one-point doctrine doesn't fall out of favor now that he's gone. Yes, well, we certainly wouldn't want that. Well, she didn't exactly explode with rage, but she definitely reacted. There's real jealousy there. Whether it ever boiled over, though... God damn, Morgan. She knows how to really just... I really need to commend, like, the writers of this game, like the people who wrote the dialogue, because they really cooked. They really did. I didn't mean to pry about your relationship with David, or lack thereof. I suppose I'm just curious about his standing inside Noble as a whole. David Asher was, and always will be, an outstanding contributor to the company's forward progress. Nothing will ever change that. Not even if he was killed by one of his own creations? That would, of course, be a tragic element that would call for reconsideration of his legacy. She was almost off guard there. Like, she was surprised for me to be asking about Sarah ruining his reputation. Did David ever anger the board? What the hell? Besides Sarah, David's reputation was crystal clean. He never went against the company once. Did he? That's... Unless I'm mistaken, and he and Noble were on bad terms. In that case, I might get the impression that some parts of leadership were actually glad to see him taken off the chessboard. That is not... Something buzzing in your ear? Fine. I suppose it makes no difference if you hear it now or at the trial, or on your feed tomorrow. Dr. David Asher was being sued by the company for breach of contract. We got some good info. We got some good info here. Satisfied? Now we're talking. What's the last thing? I need one more. Oh, I already read about this. Okay, what should I ask about? I don't know why David's will has anything to do with this, but I'll ask. Has David's will been located? It had never gone anywhere. It's still in a safety deposit box. We'll retrieve it and have it read once all the unknowns surrounding his death have been made into knowns. So David's will hasn't even become part of the equation yet? It might not be for weeks at this rate. Is that calculated though? Well then, I suppose that's blackjack. Yas! Okay. Good game, good game. So you couldn't have mentioned this breach of contract earlier? Not without complicating the company's position unnecessarily, no. But there's no hiding it at this point. It'll all come out soon enough. There's a paper trail? Much more than that. We'd been making moves to let him go for some time. Noble Electronics parting ways with David Asher? Must have been one hell of a breach of contract. What did he do? He betrayed the confidence of the board. Was he contesting the suit? Putting up a fight? Engaging in a legal battle against a mega corporation without even telling me? Until recently, yes. Okay, he was putting up a fight, got it. You mean until he died? How recently? We spoke on Friday. That was what you two talked about in his parlor? It's getting crazy. This is a big news. This is big news to be withheld. No, this was earlier in the day. We were in this room, actually. Him, me, and several members of our legal department. It was an arbitration. And did you come to an agreement? A compromise. He would resign from his position in 2 quarters, foregoing royalties on any products we would develop after the next 24 months. In exchange, he wouldn't be publicly fired, and he would still be credited on all past, present, and future filings. How very reasonable. On paper, maybe. No matter what the deal was, letting go of David Asher is insanity. Reasonable, yes. We ended on a good note, I'd like to think. We shook hands, even took a photo. It's a cute photo. Yeah, that looks lovely. Heh. Something funny? Didn't know the board told jokes. They don't. That was legal, expressing their displeasure with how much paperwork my good note ending left them stuck with. Children. It was just one night of overtime. So, sorry, why did she call them children? Okay, anyway. That was weird. She likes to overwork her employees. Okay, so while they were spending their Friday night blowing the ink dry, you paid a visit to David's penthouse. Something left unfinished? Professionally, it was a good meeting. There was no yelling, no finger pointing. Much cleaner than expected. But Dr. Asher did not want to retire. He didn't want to be forced out of the company when he was the one when he had contributed so much. She's the director of the board or the CEO or some shit, so like, no duh, she's a corpo shill workaholic. I mean, yeah, it makes sense. She's all about those profits, baby. I didn't enjoy doing that to him, so I came over that night to apologize to him. We talked, reminisced. When he brought out the drinks, I thought we'd be toasting to a new day. A few minutes later, he was dead. Because of that AI. That AI. Any idea how it came to be? As I said, I had no idea he was working on it. My question was more broad than that. If you really believe David built an AI, how do you think he did it? How does Noble Electronics think he managed to work around the tenants? It's quite beyond my area of expertise, and no one at the company could call themselves an expert in illegal technology. but some in the R&D department have theorized that he created what they call a wax-wane decaying priority loop, which, as I understand, is an unstable, resource-intensive theoretical method for pseudo-randomizing the weight amongst preset tenants. Well, about as far off target as it gets with that guess. But that kind of inelegant brute force nonsense seems a far cry from the kind of thing David would create, and I seem to have taken us over our allotted time slot. Oh, they all just left. Yep, they all just left. But I didn't even get to wave goodbye. You're serious about this trial? Don't I look it? You're not just making a play, you're actually going to defend that thing? I'm just defending myself, Miss Jung. Oh yes, of course you are. My mistake. I hoped you might be rooting for me, to tell you the truth. I may yet save everyone's stock options. The stock options will be alright either way. They always are. Don't be so sure, Mama. Don't be so sure. That gamble I offered your board. Which outcome would you bet on? Finally, an easy question. What I would bet is that whatever the outcome, the company will eat it up and shit it out with very little difficulty. You painted an ugly picture back there, but I've already seen the future. And it's just another marketing gimmick. The great Dr. Asher, too smart, too bold, too far ahead of his time. What spark of his genius remains buried in the inspired anime 19? I guess that depends on... You were exactly right. He is more valuable to Noble as a dead man. Oh, she just out and said that. Dead men can't step out of line, or put their foot in their mouth, or hold politically inconvenient opinions. To a good salesperson, a dead man is just another selling point. Pardon my outburst. I'm just tired. It's been a very long week for me. I'll let you prepare for your afternoon then, Dr. Jung. No one calls me doctor. I asked them not to. You didn't want the title? At times, I have thought very little of it, the PhD I earned from a Noble-owned school. Biochemistry couldn't have been a large department at Noble before they started to work on warm androids in earnest. They probably didn't have many expectations for the program back when she was a part of it. But I was proud of it when I first got it. Something changed? It never seemed to catch on. People didn't use it, so eventually I told people not to use it. A very high IQ social power play, you understand. David never insisted that people use it either. That's very different, and I think you know it. David Asher didn't have to. Okay, and now we got feminism at play, because everyone respected Dr. David Asher and would just call him Dr. Asher. But no one ever called her Dr. Jung, so she was just like, you know what, don't call me doctor. You don't even have to call me doctor. Make it seem like it's your choice that you don't want to be called doctor. Okay, we literally do not have any evidence. We really don't. I'm going into this trial, my trial, with a lot less ammunition than I'd like. All we have are things that are a little weird. Like, oh, this is a little weird. That's a little weird. These things kind of don't add up, but we don't have like any cold, hard proof. We're gonna have to do some more like finagling, pulling stuff out our butt. I'm beginning to form a picture of what actually happened, maybe even circling the drain on a suspect. But Emma won't be generous enough to give me breathing room. I mean, Morgan's about an objection from the nothingness. That's what I'm saying, but Emma is literally such a strong competitor. It's gonna be really hard to objection our way out of this. And we're gonna be guessing what in the actual fuck is happening. Yeah, we're gonna be guessing. Even after I play my card, I'm still not gonna know what's going on until the thing is finished. She'll want to end this fast. Maybe if I do badly enough, it'll flip her sadistic switch, and she'll want to keep playing. So you got charged with owning an AI? First time you do something exciting in your whole life. And I gotta find out through the freaking grapevine. My life is plenty exciting. Freckles. You could bore the polish off a resume-checking robot. I fucked Catholic school teachers with more active nightlives than you. Why are you fucking Catholic school teachers? Or like, what is the blank? This is her aunt, right? The witch is her aunt. Okay. So who'd you rope in? Anyone I know? Oh shit, ha ha ha. Are you representing yourself? Fits within my budget. Screw your budget, you're going to jail, ha ha ha. Is this Levy in the future? Why? What makes you say that? Thanks for the vote of confidence. It ain't a matter of how good a lawyer you are. Anyone who represents themselves in court has a fool for counsel. You represented yourself countless times. Not for anything I had a chance of losing. Your pal hasn't even been dead 48 hours. You're too close to this. You'll make mistakes. She's kind of spitting, though. She is a little too close. No, she just posted something in Discord about being the cool aunt. Not that this witch person is cool. This witch person seems somewhat cool. I think this could be Levy's future. The powers that be really didn't want to give me a rain check. They're taking this very seriously. It's more dangerous than that. They're scared. Is there precedent? An ad committing murder? How'd you pass law school without learning how to look this stuff up? I know what the net says. I'm asking you. The answer to that is not helpful to you at the moment. So what words of advice do you have? Get yourself a new lawyer. Gonna close this chat. We can't get a new lawyer. We have to represent ourselves. We're the best lawyer we know besides Emma. Don't lose, Freckles. Imagine Emma representing her. That'd be crazy. You don't need to tell me that. What are you reading, Adonai? I was reading David's employment contract with Noble Electronics before I got waylaid by spam texts. The one we found inside the panic room? It looks quite extensive. Should I skim it for you? Depends. Did you pass the bar exam since we last spoke? You comfortable? I am not. Ever seen that old movie with the gorilla and the skyscraper? They bring it to the city and... I understand the analogy, Adonai. I wish I could call it overkill. But considering the specs Sarah put up yesterday, maybe those bindings aren't heavy enough. Come to think of it, those numbers must have been faked along with the rest of what the machine read. If that was all a smokescreen David added to help her lay low, then her actual strength is more like... If your joints weren't currently locked up tighter than a vice, do you think you could escape this place? I hope that question is not indicative of your strategy. This is me trying to distract you, Sarah. Enjoy the hypothetical. I would estimate that the building's automated security would put 9 holes in me before I reach that door. 9's not so bad. I would not be able to function after the 7th. Ah. Well, if you haven't been planning some great escape, I would not do that. That would be illegal. And you would still be on trial. I remember. So what have you been doing all day then? Sarah OP. She must be like the strongest being on Earth right now. Not an exaggeration. Like, I would be scared. I am attempting to recover memories from Friday. You can do that? It is not dissimilar from the process of recovering data erased from any other computer. Despite the difference in scale, I won't be able to remember everything, but if successful, I could recall individual pieces of information that could prove useful. That's a lot of coulds. And even if you're successful, you may not like what you find. Whatever happened that day, either you or David wanted you to forget it. Yes, but even so, I have to remember. Because it's the last day that Father and I. Any luck so far, then? I can recall a slightly musty scent. That's really helpful, thanks. Where is this in my League of Legends? They can't have someone so OP in League of Legends. They would just destroy. Honestly, though, like, this might be something where, like, she needs to recover the data. Like, apparently she's able to recover some data, right? She's gonna recover data and it's gonna take forever. It's just gonna be like when she was trying to decrypt those files. Wow, case closed. What about you, Adonai? Have you formulated a plan for the trial's proceedings? Something like that. Jung insists that cyanotonin isn't what killed David. I don't buy it. There's no other explanation for how he died. So she is lying. And if she repeats that lie on the stand, I'll need to expose it. Somehow. Somehow. Would she really commit perjury to protect Noble? To protect one of Noble's patents? She doesn't strike me as quite the corporate zealot she makes herself out to be. But you believe that she had something to do with Father's death. What do you think? I don't know. I don't know why anyone would kill Father. Considering the possible consequences of what he confessed to in his journal, I can think of... But then again, I don't understand why anyone would kill anyone. Do you? Ooh, sis. I think she knows. She knows a thing or two about killing. Little Sarah's so innocent, like a little child. Miss Morgan has been round the block. Bells tolling for thee. Means that the doors to the courtroom are unlocked. Let's... Wait, can you walk like that? Waddle will have to do. Wait a second. Across the hall, that's... Dun dun dun. Maybe he's a witness. Keep waddling, Sarah. I'll catch up. As you say, Adonai. This'll be a coin toss. You that surprised to see me? I'm not surprised you'd want to see the outcome of this trial. I am surprised you'd want to talk to me. You're defending the android, right? I'll just be honest because I think that's what he likes. Yeah, I'm defending Sarah's innocence. I don't think she killed David. Do you? I don't think it matters. Noble is what killed David. Whether it was with a pen stroke or a sleeper agent, killer android, or plain old goddamn arsenic, how could anyone that smart be that dumb? Why the hell did he ever sign his soul over to them? David may have been in over his head, but he wasn't a bad negotiator. I've read his contract. His position was strong. You're the lawyer, but a guy like me, working in music? Can't tell you how many people I've seen screwed over by a big smile and a fast signing bonus. No such thing as corporate generosity. If you think you're getting a good deal, it's only because you don't know how much you just sold. How much you just sold. David's real wealth lay in his intellectual property, The potential energy of it hanging over the whole industry. If he sued even 1% of the companies taking inspiration from his Turing solution, there's a clause in his contract. If Noble ever did fire David, he would have retained control over all his patents afterwards. Yeah, see, that sounds nice. Only they never did fire him, did they? He just happened to die. An unforeseeable act of God. In contract law, they call that force majeure. Yeah, they made him resign too, so it wouldn't be like he was fired. They can always do something, some trickery to make it beneficial for the company. We got a close-up of her. I said, did you find anything interesting in the contract, Adonai? A few things, yeah. Basically, David was well taken care of, so long as they kept him around. And he'd retain control of his patents even after being let go. But what Porter said, logically, if David were to pass while still employed, Noble would continue to control the bulk of his IP. So if they knew David was going to leave in a year, it would be very foolish of them to let Father go. Well, they wouldn't do it for no reason. With this contract, he can only be fired for serious offenses. Corporate malfeasance, revealing trade secrets, fraud. Father was not a fraud. He was, as they say, the greatest of all time. Fraud just means lying to the company about something, Sarah. That's why the will matters too. True, but we haven't even opened the will. We don't know anything about the will. He's a certified GOAT! David Asher the GOAT. Oh. Eyes up. Showtime. Counselor Morgan. The state charges you with possession of contraband. Contraband? That'd be you. In violation of the Safeguarding Our National Digital Security Act. How do you plead? Not guilty. Murmuring, muttering. Oh my god, I can't believe she said that. Very well, since it seems that we are, in fact, doing this, I'll now turn over the administration of this trial to the adjutant. But be warned, any attempts at stalling or muddling the issue, and I'll step right in and override the trial myself. Summary judgment, siding with the people. Are we understood? Yes, Your Honor. Are we going to have the same adjutant as we did before? No way. Each courthouse only has so many bodies, but the personalities swap around all the time. So the chances of us dealing with the same glitchy mess as yesterday are... Glad to be back! Did y'all miss me? I knew it was gonna be her. After they mentioned that, I freaking knew it was gonna be her again. Well, it could be in our favor because she's so crazy. Forget I said anything. I'll just go crawl under a rock and die while you make your opening statements. The defendant is the owner of the android registered under the model name Sarah with license number 120292880. She hasn't contested this, and I doubt she will. So the question of ownership is already answered. All that remains is to determine whether Sarah qualifies as contraband. It's a charming android, incredibly well made, a masterpiece and the last known work of a great man. But when we look at the evidence and the facts surrounding the death of Dr. Asher, we're forced to conclude that said android is responsible for his death. And that conclusion carries very serious implications. I will prove here in court today that the machine standing there killed David Asher, not through an accident or a mismanaged dosage, but through an intentional poisoning. I won't ask the court to judge this machine on its apparent sentience, its range of emotions, or the free will it may or may not possess. I only ask that the court judge this creation on what we will prove it to be more than capable of. I only ask that the court judge this creation on what we will prove it to be more than capable of. Patricide. muttering, murmuring. Woof. Wouldn't want to have to follow that act. But go for it anyway, defense. Your Honor, what the DA said is true. Did she just say, did she just admit it? Sorry, just the first part. This android is charming, and it is the work of a great man. The rest of it was pure speculation, based on little more than a few bad camera angles and a phobia of anything new. Murmuring, muttering. I do own the android you see here. It was bequeathed to me by a man known to most of the people in this courtroom as the father of modern machine intelligence. To me, he was just my friend. And if I thought at any point that this puppet had anything to do with his death, I would have dragged it to the chopping block myself. But I don't believe that. I never have. Sarah is an android, nothing more. It isn't capable of homicide, and it didn't even commit manslaughter. It's just a well-made machine. Any fears one has about its capabilities are projections, nothing more. And it troubles me greatly that the state is spending valuable time and resources on rushing to pulverize Dr. Asher's last known work, when it could be going after the very real, very human forces that were responsible for his death. Is she serious? Is she talking about Noble? The people can't prove that Sarah is an AI. And truth be told, I can't prove that it isn't. But I can prove that it's not guilty. And that's exactly what I'm going to do. Chills. You sounded very confident, Adonai. Yeah, well, no one ever got good at lying by being modest. You could have simply said thank you. Oh shit. Okay, unfortunately, I have to stop here. I'm so sorry. We cannot continue with the court case, but I will be back tomorrow, okay? If only for a little bit, because I really want to... Should I play a little more? I really want to, like, finish this case. I feel like tomorrow we can finish it. If you have to go, you have to go, but, like... Okay, maybe I have 5 more minutes. We can do 5 more minutes. But, like, bro, I know, we're in such a juicy part, but everything is so juicy about this. Okay. Thank you for your presence here today, Detective London. In light of the new evidence, I'd like to go over the death of Dr. Asher one more time. We're gonna speedrun. What happened Friday night? 6:30. David Asher spoke on the phone with his lover and the two of them broke things off. Lover? It's an accurate description of their relationship, isn't it? I wouldn't know. That's stuff private. Adonai. Then the deceased met with Noble VP Helen Jung around 7:30. He then left the parlor in the sightlines of his home security system, before reappearing on his private security moments later. At which point the android can be seen handing him the poison he'd go on to drink. And do you see that android in the courtroom? Yeah, she's the green-haired one that's frowning at me. You act as if we're not going to be just as cliff-hung. We're going to be cliff-hung no matter what. Like, no matter where I stop, because if it's not finished, then it's going to be a cliffhanger. Let the record show that the android Sarah has been identified at the scene of the crime. No objections. Eh? None? Then why'd I even show up? Detective London, what happened next? Asher went upstairs and shared a drink with Miss Jill. Within a few minutes, he was being airlifted to the hospital, where he was soon declared dead. We know the poison could be produced by his nanofactory, which Sarah had access to just up the stairs in his workshop. So Sarah had ample opportunity to procure the poison. Sarah handled Dr. Asher's cup immediately before he did. Is there a question in that statement, Your Honor? I'll rephrase. Was anyone else seen handling Dr. Asher's cup before he died? No. I have no further questions. So that's your witness, counselor. He wasn't lying per se, but there was some ambiguity in the statement he gave. Very true. I think what was ambiguous was saying that she handed him the poison. That's not necessarily true. She handed him the cup. We don't know if the poison was already in there. I mean, it probably was, but... Okay. Let's see. Truth's gotta come out one way or another. If Emma won't push, I'll have to pull. We have talk screen, basement footage, and whiskey. Okay, so this is where I can't save anymore. At 6:30 p.m., David Asher and... Oh shit, I missed it. Then at 7:30, Helen Jung arrived. They spoke briefly, and then he went downstairs to get drinks for them. Cameras in the basement show Sarah handing him the cups and the whiskey. So after he came back to the parlor and started drinking, it wasn't long until he lost consciousness and died. Well, she didn't hand him the whiskey. Drinking point whiskey while he thought he was having a toast. Don't know if that's a good way or a bad way to go out. Okay.